Chapter 2251. In a trance, Tianyun felt like he was in a special environment. A spirit mountain appeared in front of him, with countless spirit herbs planted on it. He looked up and found the honorable breaker flower on it. This was an extremely rare divine herb, and it had actually appeared here. This made his heart skip a beat, and he quickly looked around, trying to find another kind of star god grass, which was also an extremely rare divine herb. After looking around, he sighed and said, "I can't find it. It seems like this thing doesn't even exist here. There was no star god grass in this spirit mountain, only the honorable breaker flower." Although it was a pity, at least he could find one of them. When the time came, he only needed to find the other one, and he would be able to break through to the 5th level of the star dharma. When the time came, he would meet the basic requirements to break through to the divine star venerable rank. All he had to do was accumulate enough star energy points, and he would be able to break through to the divine star venerable rank in one go. A divine star venerable rank would definitely be able to look down on everyone on Crimson Moon Planet, and no forces would dare to resist. However, there was still a long way to go to break through to the divine star venerable rank. If he had not been talking to the Purple Cloud Star Emperor, he would not have thought so much. Now he was thinking about how to break through to the Heavenly Star Venerable rank. That was the real threshold. I'll collect this divine herb first. No wonder the Purple Cloud Star Emperor said it would be effective for me. He really saw my needs in this area. It's a pity there's only one. If there were two, it would be even more perfect. With 2 divine herbs, he would be able to break through to the 5th level of the star dharma. When the time came, he would go on a killing spree outside, earn enough star energy points, and immediately break through to the divine star venerable rank. He shook his head, not feeling too depressed. He was already very lucky to be able to obtain one of the divine herbs so quickly. If it had been anyone else, they would not have had the opportunity to enter. According to the Purple Cloud Star Emperor, it was just to nurture some powerhouses to deal with the giant beast race. He would give them a star venerable level treasure, or at most, a few other decent treasures. If he wanted to take it out, he would probably have to swear an oath. Otherwise, it would be a great loss if he let it run away. This kind of oath was usually used to deal with the giant beast race. Tianyun did not need to swear an oath. He would do it anyway, so there was no need to swear an oath. Some cultivators had no choice but to forcefully use oaths to restrict themselves. Just as he was about to fly over to retrieve the broken formless flower, he suddenly realized that he couldn't fly at all. He was completely restricted below. Is this a flight ban? Tianyun narrowed his eyes and felt that things were not that simple. Previously, the Star Emperor of Ziyun had said that if he wanted to obtain this great opportunity, he would have to rely on his own abilities. This meant that there was definitely some difficulty involved. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said such words and directly sent the treasure to Tianyun. He raised his head and looked at the spirit mountain. He could vaguely sense an unusual energy fluctuation emanating from it. He didn't think that it would be so easy for him to pluck the broken venerate flower. The broken honor flower was planted at the highest level of the spiritual mountain, which made it even more precious. Whatever, let's go in and take a look. Tianyun lifted his foot and walked inside. Just as he was halfway up the mountain, he was repelled by a wave of energy, causing him to take a few steps back. Soon after, a figure flew out from inside. It wasn't the Star Emperor of Ziyun, but an old man. The old man was full of dignity. He looked at Yi Futian and said sternly, "Cultivator, if you want to pluck the spiritual herbs here, you must pass the trial to be able to pluck the spiritual herbs in the corresponding area." After saying that, the old man waved his hand and the entire spirit mountain was divided into 10 levels. In each level, there was an additional puppet. The auras of the puppets were all different. The higher the level, the stronger the aura of the puppets. They didn't seem simple at all. Tianyun's eyes narrowed. The puppets on the first level were all late-stage star venerate cultivators. The puppets on the second level were all late-stage star venerate cultivators, and so on. The puppets on the 10th level were not divine star venerate cultivators, but late-stage star venerate cultivators. However, this late-stage star venerate cultivator seemed to be very unusual. Yi Futian would only know what was going on when he fought with it. Those who succeed in the challenge can pluck any spiritual herb they want. Each level can only pluck one spiritual herb. The old man explained the rules. Tianyun had a general idea of what was going on. This was also provided to the cultivators. However, they had to fulfill certain strict conditions before they could enter the Spirit Mountain to challenge and obtain the precious spiritual herbs. In this 10th level, apart from the Venerate Breaker Flower, there were other precious spiritual herbs for cultivation. However, for Tianyun, the Venerate Breaker Flower was more important. The rest of the spiritual herbs are not bad. Tianyun glanced at the spiritual herbs on the other levels and felt that they were all not bad. There were some that were suitable for others, so he wouldn't waste them. Let's try the other levels first. I wonder what moves these puppets have. He then chose the 7th level. The 7th level had decent spiritual herbs, so he could choose from it. I choose the 7th level. Tianyun said. Okay, the 7th level. The old man waved his hand, and Tianyun was transferred to the arena on the 7th level. The loser will lose all chances and be moved out of the Spirit Mountain. The winner can continue the trial until he fails. Tianyun was stunned. So that was what was going on. They were giving him 10 chances. However, to make use of all 10 chances, he had to defeat all of them. If he failed even once, he would have to leave this place. Oh, I thought you would choose the 10th level. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor's voice suddenly came from the side. Senior, I want to try it out first. Tianyun was not surprised by the Purple Cloud Star Emperor's appearance. This place was definitely within the Purple Cloud Star Emperor's observation range. The puppets on the 7th level were not weak either. They were all late-stage star venerates. Starting from the 7th level, they were all late-stage star venerates. Although their cultivation was similar, it didn't mean that their strength was the same. It's good to try it out first. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor smiled. Originally, it was impossible for there to be a broken Master Flower on the 10th level. I specially placed a broken Master Flower on the 10th level. If you want to become a Divine Star Venerate, the level of your Star Dharma idol has to reach the standard. This is the opportunity I'm giving you. Senior, why don't you put the Star Divine Herb on the 10th level as well? Tianyun smiled. It would be a happy thing to be able to put both on the 10th level. There is no Star Divine Herb in the Violet Gold Divinity Pavilion. I can't do anything about it. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor was a little helpless. If you were training in the other Violet Gold Divinity Pavilions, there would be some, but there is none here. This place is a little more remote, and the resources are more limited. Chapter 2252. There was naturally more than one Purple Gold Divine Pavilion. In order to deal with the Giant Beast clan, the Purple Cloud Star Emperor had placed Purple Gold Divine Pavilions in many areas, so that more strong fighters could pass the trial and then deal with the Giant Beast clan. This was the simplest method. Not only could they gather some strong fighters, but they could also save a lot of time. This kind of targeted trial would undoubtedly increase the effect to the maximum. But for now, it was not very practical. The Giant Beast clan was gradually evolving, and when they were all cultivators, this kind of fighting method would not be suitable. This place was originally meant to teach them how to deal with the Giant Beast clan, to find the Giant Beast clan's weakness, and then hit it hard. Now that they had all become cultivators, it was impossible to find any weaknesses. Not only were their bodies strong, but they also knew their martial arts techniques. This was the most troublesome part. Therefore, out of all the Purple Gold Divine Pavilions, this one was the more miserable one, and the resources were more limited. Tianyun could not help but imagine what level the Purple Gold Divine Pavilions with amazing resources would be like. It must be known that this Purple Gold Divine Pavilion had already made everyone crazy. There were so many star venerable level treasures, as well as countless other spiritual herbs. This was already quite rich. But the Purple Cloud Star Emperor said that the treasures here were relatively few, which made him sigh. The other Purple Gold Divine Pavilions probably had better treatment. I see. Tianyun smiled bitterly. Otherwise, he would not have needed to look for the Star God Herb, and he could have directly broken through here. Yes, But the broken Zunflower is also not bad. You can spend a little effort to find the remaining one. It shouldn't be too difficult. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor said it wouldn't be too difficult for Yi Tianyun. The Ziyun Star Emperor was a legendary figure. To him, there was nothing difficult about it. Very well, I'm already satisfied that I got the broken Zunflower. Yi Tianyun did not ask for much. Anyway, it was good enough to get one. Then he turned his gaze to the puppet in front of him and said to the elder, "You may begin." They could have started long ago. If the Purple Cloud Star Emperor had not come out, they would have started fighting. Then let the competition begin. At the elder's command, the puppet moved quickly. In the next second, the puppet's power burst forth. It turned into an afterimage, and like a bolt of black lightning, it pierced through the air. This puppet was in the form of an ordinary cultivator. There was nothing special about it. However, it was precisely this form that was the most difficult to deal with. After he used his full power, he vaguely sensed that the energy fluctuations were stronger than most late-stage Grand Star Venerables. It did not have any star materialization, nor did it use any star power, but its power was far greater than that of a late-stage Star Venerable. In the end, it was because the materials used to make it were excellent. They were purely made of the materials used to make star-level treasures. In terms of treasures, it was at least a middle-grade Star Venerable treasure. It was more powerful than most medium-grade Star Venerable grade treasures. After all, it was built purely with the materials used to build Star Venerable level treasures, and it was mixed with some other special materials to make it more powerful. Under its feet, there were also densely packed star runes that continuously strengthened the puppet's power. Good timing! Yi Tianyun was not careless at all. A thunder-long saber appeared in his hand quickly. He could not relax when dealing with such a puppet, so he exerted his strongest move right away. Open! The thunder power absorbed in his body gushed out and poured into the thunder-long saber. The thunder-long saber lit up immediately. A domineering thunder dragon pattern appeared on the thunder-long saber. Dense electric arcs were released from the thunder-long saber, and the surrounding air was filled with a burning smell. If he had not absorbed the thunder power, he would not have been able to exert the thunder-long saber's power. Even then, he could not exert his full power. Only with the thunder power in his body could he exert its full power. It would be great if he could exert more than half of the thunder-long saber's power. Although he had only exerted half of the thunder-long saber's power, it was not weak at all. The puppet did not feel any danger facing such a powerful attack. It did not even try to dodge. It only fought against Yi Tianyun head-on. It did not feel any fear, nor did it feel any pain. As a result, it was quite terrifying when they fought against each other. They did not know how to dodge at all. They just wanted to see who was tougher. Boom! The two of them collided head-on. The two figures were sent flying back quickly. The distance they flew back was almost the same. It could be seen how powerful the puppet was. It's really tough. Yi Tianyun felt numb between his thumb and index finger. It was a Star Venerable level treasure indeed. It was dreadful for it to charge at him head-on. Especially this treasure, which had a cultivation level. It would not be easy to deal with it. Buzz! There were only faint marks on the puppet's body. It did not feel any pain at all. It continued to charge at Yi Tianyun without any pause. This was the ferocity of a puppet. As long as it wasn't completely destroyed, it would continue to attack until either its opponent died or it died. It's so powerful at this level. Won't the one on the 10th level be even more powerful? Yi Tianyun squinted. He did not want to waste any more time. A unique star divine figure appeared behind him. The power of the seven-colored king dragon gushed out. The star power above his head shrouded the puppet. His star power reached the level of 55 instantly. Chaotic thunder strike. Yi Tianyun brandished the thunder-long blade in his hand and slashed down on the puppet that was rushing towards him. The domineering thunder light was like a giant blade that could split the sky and earth, shrouding the puppet that was rushing towards him. The puppet did not even try to dodge. It just stood there like a fool. That made Yi Tianyun feel more relaxed. He did not have to spend so much energy on it. Boom! It was as if divine lightning had struck the ground, causing a deafening boom to ring out. In the end, a huge crater appeared on the ground. At the same time, the puppet seemed to have been assimilated, lying limply on the ground, not moving in the slightest. Its limbs had long since fallen apart, leaving behind only its torso. Its torso had been cut in half by Yi Tianyun's knife strike. Even a star venerable level treasure would be split open by this domineering power. Moreover, he had a star venerable level treasure, and he could still kill his opponent if they clashed. Congratulations on passing the 7th level. You can pick any spiritual herb on the 7th level at will, the old man said calmly, without any emotion. Yi Tianyun nodded. He did not feel anything special about it. If he could not deal with these small puppets, he would not be able to pass the 10th level. Chapter 2253. Yi Tianyun chose a rising dragon flower on the 7th floor, which would be of great help to him when he broke through to the Grand Star Venerable Realm. He planned to give this spirit herb to Shueyun as the best supplementary herb when she broke through to the Grand Star Venerable Realm in the future. Do you want to continue? The old man spoke to Yi Tianyun in his emotionless voice. Continue to the 10th floor. Yi Tianyun did not challenge the 9th floor or the 8th floor. He went straight to the 10th floor. He had a general sense of the difficulty, but it was not a problem for him. If he could not even deal with this, the Purple Cloud Star Emperor would be disappointed, and he would not be qualified to participate. The eyes of the Purple Cloud Star Emperor, who was watching from the side, flickered with anticipation. The difficulty of the 10th floor was almost equivalent to facing a half-step Divine Star Venerable, so one could imagine how difficult it was. However, no matter how difficult it was, the fact that the Purple Cloud Star Emperor had set it up here meant that someone could win this round. It was not a Divine Star Venerable, but a Grand Star Venerable who could win this round. If a Divine Star Venerable won this round, it would be meaningless. The Lord Breaker Flower was only effective against Grand Star Venerables and had no effect on Divine Star Venerables at all. However, in terms of effect, it was still slightly effective. It was just a slight increase in cultivation. With the old man's teleportation, Yi Tianyun was quickly transferred to the 10th floor's competition platform. The puppet appeared in front of him at the same time. The puppet had not changed much. It was still in the state of a cultivator and looked like a young man. Upon closer inspection, it seemed to bear some resemblance to the Purple Cloud Star Emperor. This was probably made in the likeness of the Purple Cloud Star Emperor. There were dense star patterns all over his body, and through these star patterns, the formation beneath his feet could continuously channel astral power into it, filling it to the brim with power. Without power to sustain it, this puppet had no combat power at all. Even if Yi Tianyun ran out of this array, the puppet would not dare to rush out. Once it did, it would either be unable to move or its power would be greatly reduced. This was the fatal weakness of the puppet. Everything depended on the array to increase its power. However, it wasn't a problem for him to be used as a trial target here. Correspondingly, if Yi Tianyun was an advanced astral rune master, he would be able to obtain victory easily as long as he broke the array beneath his feet. In reality, it was extremely difficult. The grade of the great formation beneath his feet was too high. With his current level, it was impossible for him to break it. If he could break it, he definitely wouldn't be polite. Looking at the way to solve it, this method was the most convenient. An astral tattoo master. It looks like I'll have to focus on improving my cultivation once I have more star energy. Yi Tianyun sighed. The more complex a palace was, the more difficult it would be to deal with the star patterns. If one's rank was relatively high, it would be very easy to deal with the star patterns. It could be said that compared to the other two professions, Astral Rune Master had a higher utilization rate. Buzz! With a wave of the puppet's hand, a high-grade star venerable treasure suddenly appeared. A powerful fluctuation came from the weapon. It was not an attack, but the space around it distorted slightly, as if it was about to be torn apart. The puppet's hollow eyes were fixed on Yi Tianyun. It was ready to rush over and fight him to the death at any moment. Its terrifying fighting spirit burst forth. It was obviously a puppet, but it had the same fighting spirit as a cultivator. The most terrifying thing was that it could actually cast the star Dharma power. Moreover, it was a grade 6 star Dharma power. A giant black tortoise appeared behind it. A majestic aura gushed out, forming a thick layer of armor that covered the puppet's body. 9-shelled black tortoise. Yi Tianyun's eyes narrowed. He hadn't expected that puppets could also use the star Dharma power. He had only heard that clones could use the star Dharma power, but he hadn't expected that puppets could also use it. Wasn't this heaven-defying? It had to be said that the difficulty of the 10th level was quite high. I created this through special means. It was quite difficult to create. I only made a dozen of them, the Purple Cloud Star Emperor said. He was very satisfied with his puppet. It's a pity that it's still lacking something. Otherwise, I could have made a puppet with a higher cultivation and a more perfect fusion. Senior, isn't this a little too difficult? Although Yi Tianyun wasn't afraid of this puppet, after the puppet's attack, he felt that it was no longer an ordinary late-stage Star Venerable. It was almost on par with a divine Star Venerable. The puppet itself was already heaven-defying, and it was a top-grade Star Venerable treasure. It was holding a top-grade Star Venerable treasure in its hand, and it even had a grade 6 Star Dharma power. There was a formation under its feet. How could he possibly win? Ahem, this is a little difficult, so the rule of the 10th level is naturally not to defeat the puppet, but to last as long as you can, the Purple Cloud Star Emperor said with a smile. So don't be nervous. It's a little difficult, but it's still acceptable. If it were any other cultivator, they would only need to last for 15 minutes to pass. As for you, you have to last for at least 15 minutes. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor suddenly raised the standard by 3 times. It was simply terrible. This. Yi Tianyun looked at the puppet. It's been holding on for 3 incense sticks of time. It doesn't sound like a long time, but the real situation is definitely terrifying. Otherwise, the Purple Cloud Star Emperor wouldn't have set the rule at 15 minutes. Of course, this 1 incense stick of time was for other cultivators. For him, it was 3 incense sticks of time. No problem, 15 minutes it is. Yi Tianyun smiled. He had only felt that it was a little difficult, not that he couldn't defeat it. He knew why his standard had been raised. It was because he was the successor of the 5-colored Emperor Dragon. Otherwise, the standard would not have been raised by 3 times. All right, let the competition officially begin. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor gave the order on behalf of the old man. Originally, he didn't need to come personally, but he saw that Yi Tianyun had come to the trial, so he came over to take a look. As soon as he gave the order, the puppet seemed to have a soul. Its eyes emitted a cold light, and it directly charged towards Yi Tianyun. With the momentum of a thunderbolt, it attacked Yi Tianyun crazily. It could be said that from the beginning, its power had been raised to the highest level. If one was not careful, they would be killed instantly. Boom! Yi Tianyun was also prepared. The power of the 7-colored Emperor Dragon surged wildly, and the astral power above flowed out. All the Dharma powers of the stars were added to his body, and they collided head-on with the puppet, triggering a violent explosion. The entire arena shook from the explosion. Even the entire Spirit Mountain felt a little shaken, as if it was about to collapse at any time. Amazing! After colliding head-on with the puppet, Yi Tianyun quickly bounced back. He felt that the palm that was holding the Thunder Saber was a little cracked. This guy was really too hard. Chapter 2254. The terrifying puppet kept attacking Yi Tianyun without any pause. Even if Yi Tianyun hit the puppet, it's just a slight shake, leaving only a faint mark on the puppet's hard body. This was a superior Star Venerable treasure, so it was terrifyingly hard. The most terrifying thing was that it had the support of the 9-shelled black tortoise, which increased its defense to a whole new level. No wonder it was said that one only needed to hold on. How could one defeat such a terrifying defense without the power of a divine Star Venerable? Moreover, its combat power was endless. No matter what kind of ultimate move it used, it would never be exhausted. When ordinary cultivators used some unique skills, they would run out of energy for a certain period of time. They would only be able to use it again after a little rest. But this puppet did not have such a thing. It went all out, attacking crazily all the way. Not to mention the time it took for one stick of incense to burn, many star venerables in the late stage would not be able to hold on for even half an incense stick of incense. Given the puppet's situation, it would be able to attack hundreds of times in half an incense stick of incense. Who could withstand the attack of such a violent puppet for more than half an incense stick of incense? Especially when the puppet was holding a superior star venerable treasure. How could one fight it? The treasure in Tianyun's hand was only a medium star venerable treasure. After withstanding several moves in a row, the thunder-long knife had many cuts on it, but the big knife in the puppet's hand was not damaged at all. This was the difference in grade. With such a huge gap between the two, ordinary cultivators could just surrender. How could they continue fighting? Not to mention the other cultivators, even Tianyun felt that it was a bit difficult to resist. The puppet's attacks swept over like a storm. It did not seem to be tired at all. Seeing this, the purple cloud star emperor squinted. He did not know how much Tianyun could resist in the end. Could he really hold on for 1.5 an incense stick of time? It looks like he won't be able to hold on for 1.5 an incense stick of time. The purple cloud star emperor sighed when he saw Tianyun retreating. If this went on, Tianyun would not be able to hold on. Under such circumstances, he would not be able to hold on for too long. If he did not put up any resistance, he would not be able to hold on for too long. Unless Tianyun could dodge it, the puppet would not give him the chance to do so. She pressed closely against Tianyun, not letting him leave her side. This feeling was like gangrene attached to the bone, sticking to his body and not letting him leave. Just when the purple cloud star emperor could no longer bear to watch, a loud roar came from below. Get lost! Accompanied by the roar of a dragon, a terrifying beam of light rushed out and forced the puppet to retreat a large distance. The purple cloud star emperor's eyes lit up. He did not expect Tianyun to be able to fight back. It's not bad, but it's not enough. Tianyun said coldly, don't think that you're invincible just because you're a little harder. No matter how hard it is, it can still blow you up. In the next moment, Tianyun circulated the power in his body. The power of the seven-colored imperial dragon behind him quickly merged into his body and became one. Such a perfect compatibility allowed him to possess the strongest power of the seven-colored imperial dragon in his human form. In addition, the rest of the astral dharma power was also maximized. The power of the 4 astral dharma powers was quickly released, all of which could increase the level of astral power. In an instant, the astral power above his head was raised to the level of 63 cubic meters, which was enough to shock many people. At least the purple cloud star emperor was shocked. The original 55 cubic meters of astral power was already scary enough, but now it had increased to 63 cubic meters, which was a little scary. When he was a late-stage Grand Astral Venerable, he only had about 40 cubic meters of astral power at most, but Tianyun had 63 cubic meters of astral power. It was a pity that there was no one here who could force him to use the swallowing galaxy. Otherwise, he would not only have 63 cubic meters of astral power, but would have been able to reach more than 70. When that happened, the purple cloud star emperor would be even more shocked. Who could achieve such a high level of astral power at this level of cultivation? Burning wrath of heavens. Tianyun swung the thunder saber and slammed it forward. The full power of the burning wrath of heavens suit burst forth, and flames swept across the surroundings, causing the temperature to rise rapidly, burning the entire place red, as if it had turned into a red-hot iron wok. Boom! Under his ferocious attack, the puppet was knocked back dozens of meters, and it was at this moment that Tianyun counterattacked. Your power is not bad, but if you think this will end it, you're too naive. The purple cloud star emperor was very satisfied with Tianyun's performance, but it was impossible for him to continue suppressing the puppet with this level of power. The puppet was not that simple. The puppet was not afraid of death, and it had an inexhaustible supply of astral power and a tough body. How could it let Tianyun succeed? Sure enough, in the next moment, the puppet's eyes burst with a shocking divine light, and a layer of astral power quickly shrouded above it, and in the blink of an eye, 43 cubic meters of astral power appeared. Previously, the puppet did not use astral power, and the Purple Cloud Star Emperor thought that it could not be used. Who knew that the puppet could still use astral power? After using astral power, the power exploded all at once, and the already terrifying puppet's aura rapidly increased by dozens of times. Its combat power increased greatly, and it felt like it was infinitely close to the cultivation of a divine star venerable. Yi Tianyun's eyes turned cold, and he directly used the Swallowing Galaxy, swallowing up 1/3 of the astral power in one gulp. At the same time, his own 63 cubic meters of astral power suddenly rushed to 68 cubic meters, which was even more heaven-defying. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor's eyes were stunned. He did not expect Yi Tianyun to have such an ability. The five-colored Emperor Dragon has such an ability? He had never seen the five-colored Emperor Dragon use this ability, but it was a brand new special ability. After increasing the astral power to 68 cubic meters, Yi Tianyun became even more heaven-defying and powerful. Originally, it would have been fine if the puppet did not use astral power, but now that it did, it seemed even more heaven-defying. 7 shining stars of wrath. Yi Tianyun waved the thunder saber, and all the power of thunder in his body rushed out and gathered on the thunder saber. Originally, he could only use 7 attributes, but now there was an additional attribute, and it became 8 attributes. In an instant, the surrounding space seemed to have stagnated, and the domineering power caused the space to stagnate. As his saber fell, the puppet that was originally rushing over was so scared that it dodged. This was not controlled by the Purple Cloud Star Emperor, but the puppet really dodged. The puppet that was not afraid of death and being beaten before actually dodged. Go to hell. Yi Tianyun roared and slashed down heavily. The puppet couldn't dodge in time and was hit by Yi Tianyun's heavy blade. Clang. The sound of metal clashing resounded throughout the Spirit Mountain. Who would win and who would lose? Boom. The 8-colored saber aura slashed forward, and the battle stage was split into 2. When the light gradually disappeared, what appeared in front of them was the puppet, almost split in half. Chapter 2255. The hard puppet was almost split in half by Yi Tianyun's strike. Although it was not completely split, the puppet had already lost its combat power. Only a small part of it was left uncut. Most of it had already been split in half. In such a situation, the puppet fell backward, paralyzed on the ground, unable to move. It's too hard. I only managed to split it in half even with all my strength. Yi Tianyun withdrew the Thunder Long Saber in his hand. There was a dent on the Thunder Long Saber, which looked quite miserable. This was the result of going head-on against the puppet. The Thunder Long Saber almost broke. Fortunately, he had the strength to support it. Otherwise, it would have been split in half. In general, Yi Tianyun was quite satisfied with his ability. When he used all his strength, even a top-grade star venerable puppet would have to retreat. The effect was very obvious just now. The puppet was frightened by his strength and dodged to the side. If it had not dodged, the puppet would have been split in half. This was based on the premise that Yi Tianyun had not used his crazy mode. If he had used all his strength, it would have been easier to deal with the puppet. However, he still wanted to test the limits of his strength. Sure enough, he could still kill the opponent without using his crazy mode. Just when he thought he was relieved, a beam of light suddenly appeared on the ground and quickly shrouded the puppet. In the blink of an eye, the injuries on the puppet healed quickly. In a short while, the puppet was completely healed and became a complete puppet. There were no scars on it at all. The severely damaged puppet was actually healed in the blink of an eye. Again? Yi Tianyun's face fell. He had already split it in half, and now it had recovered. Do I have to hold on for 1.5 hours? It had only been a little more than 1.5 hours. There was still a long way to go. According to this rule, it would be useless to defeat it. After the puppet stood up, it did not continue to fight. It stood there motionless like a statue. Congratulations on passing the 10th level. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor said with a smile. I passed? Tianyun looked at the puppet and said doubtfully, I thought I had to hold on for the time it takes for 3 incense sticks to burn. Otherwise, I would have to continue fighting. You've already defeated it, so there's no need for you to persist for the time it takes for 3 incense sticks to burn. The rules aren't that strict. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor was quite satisfied with Yi Tianyun. He praised, "Your strength is not bad. You are one of the best among the Grand Star Venerables. Among all the geniuses I've seen, you belong to the upper echelon." On the upper level, Yi Tianyun's eyes narrowed. Studying the words carefully, he realized that something was amiss. His explosive power could only be considered to be in the upper echelon of geniuses that the Ziyun Star Emperor had seen. He was still a distance away from the top geniuses. Yes, your performance just now was very good, but you're still lacking compared to some super geniuses. Whether it is in terms of bloodline, physique, or martial arts, they are far superior to you. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor said with a smile, "Of course, you don't have to be discouraged. Your starting point is much lower than theirs. They have been nurtured by many powerful fighters since they were born, so the situation is naturally different." Yi Tianyun nodded. He could understand this. The difference in environment allowed one's starting point to be much higher. For example, if he wanted to break through to the Star Venerable rank or the Grand Star Venerable rank, he would need to look for divine medicine. As for these geniuses, their elders had already prepared all the divine medicine and placed it in front of them. They even helped to protect them. Such a smooth journey, with all kinds of divine medicine, how could they not be strong? However, Tianyun believed that he was stronger than them. He had worked his way up bit by bit, unlike those young masters who had not gone through too many trials and tribulations. "I know, but there's no way they can beat me." Yi Tianyun smiled confidently. "It seems that you have a steady mind, but it's true. They are superior to you in all aspects, but there is one aspect that they are inferior to, and that is their mentality and experience." The Purple Cloud Star Emperor sighed. It's because their path is too smooth that they can easily fail or be thwarted. This is why we let the heirs of the 5-colored Emperor Dragon continue to develop. Only after going through layers of training can they become the true heirs of the 5-colored Emperor Dragon. This was why the Purple Cloud Star Emperor and the others did not interfere with the heirs of the 5-colored Emperor Dragon. They had seen too many geniuses who grew up with silver spoons in their mouths, and they were numb to it. So that's how it is. Yi Tianyun finally understood what they meant. Cultivation was important, but mental training was even more important. "All right, go and get your reward," the Purple Cloud Star Emperor said. Yi Tianyun's gaze shifted to the broken Zun flower at the side. He could finally get his hands on this broken Zun flower. He then walked over, plucked the broken Zun flower, and placed it in his inventory. He could finally get his hands on one of the broken Zun flowers. All that was left was the Star God Grass. "Thank you, Elder," Yi Tianyun said gratefully. "There's no need to thank me. This is what you deserve. If you didn't pass the 10th level of the trial, you wouldn't have gotten your hands on this broken Zun flower." The Purple Cloud Star Emperor smiled. "All right, I can't help you with the rest. I've given you what I should." "No, Elder. You still have something to give me." Tianyun smiled, but there was a hint of devilish charm in his smile. "There's still something I haven't given you?" The Purple Cloud Star Emperor was taken aback, but he quickly understood. He smiled and pointed at him. "How greedy. You've taken a fancy to my Purple Gold Divinity Pavilion, haven't you?" The Purple Gold Divinity Pavilion was even more precious. It could be said that obtaining the Purple Gold Divinity Pavilion was equivalent to obtaining control of this place. The key was that whoever entered would be killed by him. "Hee, I wonder if Elder is willing to give it to me?" Yi Tianyun asked with a smile. "There's nothing to be unwilling about. Anyway, this Purple Gold Divinity Pavilion has long been meaningless. If you want it, then take it. Anyway, I've basically delegated control to you. You've taken all the precious items, and the rest is just an empty shell." The Purple Cloud Star Emperor smiled and waved his hand. He was rather generous. "Thank you, Elder." Yi Tianyun was overjoyed. He thought that he would be rejected, but he didn't expect that he would agree so quickly. With the Purple Gold Divinity Pavilion, It was equivalent to having an incomparably huge fortress. When necessary, he could even hide in it. Under this incomparably sturdy fortress, even a divine star venerable would not be able to break in. Chapter 2256. When the violet cloud star emperor saw Yi Tianyun's excited expression, he smiled and shook his head. When you reach a higher level of cultivation, you will know that this is nothing. I know that, but for now, it means a lot to me. Yi Tianyun knew that when one reached a higher level of cultivation, one's surroundings would change. It was like the first time he came up from the lower world and found that the most powerful treasure in the lower world was useless here. Or rather, it was not even comparable to the weakest treasure here. When one's level increased, the things one encountered would naturally be different. Well, since you have said so, I will transfer the control of the Violet Gold Divinity Pavilion to you. The Violet Cloud Star Emperor reached out and flicked his finger. A ray of light fell on Yi Tianyun, indicating that he had completely gained control of the Violet Gold Divinity Pavilion. Yi Tianyun also felt that he had become one with the Violet Gold Divinity Pavilion, and he could feel every corner of the Violet Gold Divinity Pavilion. Thank you, Senior. Yi Tianyun expressed his gratitude once again. Don't mention it. It's just a small token of my appreciation. I'm giving you a little extra help. The Violet Cloud Star Emperor stroked his chin. If those old fellows find out that I am giving you such preferential treatment, I wonder if they will gossip? Yi Tianyun was stunned. He knew that the old fellows the Violet Cloud Star Emperor was talking about must be at the same level as he was. If it makes things difficult for you, Senior, then I don't want it anymore, Yi Tianyun said after thinking for a while. That's an exaggeration. The main thing is that those old fellows said not to give you any help. To be honest, I'm not breaking the rules, am I? You came here to train and passed the test perfectly. Obtaining the Violet Gold Divinity Pavilion is equivalent to proving your own strength. The Star Emperor of Purple Cloud thought for a while and said with a smile, Forget it, don't think too much about it. I will leave this place to you. I won't be staying here any longer. I hope that the next time we meet, you will have broken through to the Heavenly Star Supremacy level. I also want you to become the true inheritor of the five-colored Emperor Dragon. I think you are very good. After the Violet Cloud Star Emperor laughed, he gradually disappeared. This trace of divine will was about to disappear completely. Since the control had been handed over to Yi Tianyun, there was no need for him to stay here any longer. Thank you, Senior. Yi Tianyun slowly knelt down. He was very grateful to the Ziyun Star Emperor. Kid, work hard. The Star Emperor of Ziyun did not say anything more and completely disappeared from this space. He did not say anything more and let nature take its course. After the Ziyun Star Emperor completely disappeared, a voice rang in Yi Tianyun's ears. Ding! Special quest, obtain the Purple Gold Divine Pavilion, completed. Reward, 5 billion star energy, 10,000 good deeds, and 3 system evolution points. Upon hearing this news, Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up. This was an unexpected surprise. The most important thing was not the star energy, but the 3 evolution points. With these 3 evolution points, he could easily level up Crazy Mode. Level up Crazy Mode. Yi Tianyun did not hesitate. With the evolution points, he would level up immediately. He had been looking forward to leveling up the system for a long time. Ding! 5 evolution points have been deducted. Successfully leveled up Crazy Mode. The next level requires 8 evolution points. Ding! Crazy Mode has completely evolved. The effect has been increased to 50 times. Nice. Yi Tianyun was very satisfied. He had finally leveled up Crazy Mode to 50 times, and it had been doubled again. The next level would be to increase it to 100 times. However, it required 8 evolution points, which was quite difficult. Only God knew what kind of mission he could complete. Currently, the main mission had not appeared. It was not that he did not want to take the evolution points, but that he could not find them. Now that he had suddenly completed a special mission, he could obtain evolution points. Otherwise, he would not have been able to obtain them. It's about time to go back. Tianyun raised his head and looked at the spirit mountain. This spirit mountain had immediately become his. As long as he was willing, he could easily move everything here and obtain a lot of spirit herbs. Of course, the effects of these spirit herbs were negligible to him. He only wanted the star god grass, so these things were of limited help to him. Following that, his figure flickered and he easily teleported to the palace. At that moment, Tian Xinghuan had already woken up. She had successfully broken through to the mid-stage star venerable realm, which was quite a big improvement. Young Mastery, you are finally back. Where did you go? I woke up and found that you were gone. Tian Xinghuan heaved a sigh of relief when she saw Tianyun return. She had been fiddling with this place for a long time, but she had not found any exit or entrance. I went to pass some trials and am finally back. Tianyun smiled. He did not tell them that he had become the master of this place. It was not that he wanted to hide it, but he wanted to give them a surprise. Trials? What trials? Tian Xinghuan was a little confused. She had been wandering around here for a long time, but she did not see any trial passages. When Tianyun was about to explain, the gate opened slowly. Then a familiar figure appeared in front of them, Zhu Xing. Zhu Xing was one step faster than Jing Xen and was the second to arrive. However, before he could take a few steps, Jing Xen also walked in from outside. The two of them were about the same speed. Originally, it would have taken them a long time. After all, two members of the giant beast race had sneaked in. As long as someone was challenging the guards, they would not be able to challenge them. Just now, the Purple Cloud Star Emperor had caught those two fellows. Naturally, there were empty spots for them to challenge. Thanks to their extraordinary strength, they passed the trials of the guards and obtained their own keys. Then they came in. The power of those guards was at the late stage of the Grand Star Venerable Realm. They were much weaker than the puppets. It was not an easy trial. However, when Zhu Xing came in excitedly and saw that both Tianyun and Tian Xinghuan were there, his face fell. He thought he was the first to come in. Who knew that Tianyun and Tian Xinghuan would come in before him? How is this possible? Why are the two of you here? Zhu Xing was extremely shocked. Not to mention Tianyun, why was Tian Xinghuan earlier than him? Each key could only allow one person to pass. This meant that both of them needed to obtain a key to enter. In reality, this was not the case. All of Tianyun's purple gold keys could allow multiple people to enter. This was practically cheating. Why can't we stay here? Tianyun said calmly. Are you the only one who can pass the trials of the guards? Chapter 2257. Zhu Xing's face turned gloomy. He was very unhappy with Tianyun's attitude. He would have fought with Tianyun a long time ago if it were not for the fact that they could not fight each other here. Young Master Dean, I did not expect you to come in so quickly. Jing Xen was very confused. Even though she was smart and could deduce many things, there were still many things that she could not figure out. For example, she did not know that Tianyun had the key. She would not have been able to figure it out. Yes, we are a little faster. Tianyun smiled. He did not tell the truth. There was no need to tell the truth to her. Jing Xen nodded. It was not just fast. It was much faster than them. Especially when they were given priority to train, and they were even faster than them. It was very strange. However, she did not ask further. It was fast. Was there any other way to get in? Zhu Xing didn't say a word and looked around. Apart from the thick purple gas that could bring them a strong effect, there was nothing else. Younger sister Jing Xen, if we absorb the purple gas here and cultivate, our cultivation will improve a little. Zhu Xing did not bother with Tianyun. Instead, he turned his attention to Jing Xen. He did not want to give up. Tian Xing suddenly burst out laughing. What are you laughing at? Zhu Xing's face turned gloomy. He felt like Tian Xing was laughing at him. I'm laughing at how happy you are. When we first came in, the purple qi here was dozens of times denser than it is now. Tian Xinghuan's beautiful eyes were filled with mischief as she teased, it's a pity that we've absorbed it all. That feeling is pretty good. Dozens of times denser. Zhu Xing narrowed his eyes. He snorted and said, "That's nothing. I don't care." He was stubborn. When he saw Tianxing break through to the middle stage of Grand Star Venerable, he knew how powerful the effect was. If they were in his family, they would have to spend a lot of resources to raise their cultivation. Not only would they need resources, but they would also need a lot of time. Now, they had broken through easily in a short time. He was very envious of them. He did not admit it, but he was envious of them. When he took a closer look, he found that Yi Tianyun had broken through to the late stage of Grand Star Venerable, which made him even more furious. All the benefits were taken by Yi Tianyun, and he could only barely get the soup. Oh, as expected of young Master Zhu of a large family. You don't even care about this, but I do care about it very much. Tianxing Huan covered her mouth and chuckled. She could see that Zhu Xing was just being stubborn. Even the Zhu family and the Chu family could not produce such an effect. Are you saying that the purple qi here was very dense before? Jing Exen walked over and asked doubtfully. Yes, the purple qi was quite rich, but we absorbed it all. It must have been accumulating for a long time, but we've already absorbed all of it, Heavenly Star Ring answered honestly. So it's like that? Jing Exen looked around. After sizing up the place for a while, she slowly said, "The effect is quite good. It's continuously released for the trial taker to absorb as a reward for passing the guard? But isn't this reward a little too shabby?" Jing Exen frowned. She did not think this should be the case. They had passed so many trials, but they could only practice here. Wasn't it a little too shabby? It's not shabby. First of all, you'll get a Star Venerable level treasure. If you don't pass the trial, you won't be able to get anything. Then, you'll get some rewards for passing the 4 guards. Although they aren't Star Venerable level treasures, you'll at least get some special rewards, right? Yi Tianyun retorted calmly next to her. The violet gold divine pavilion could be considered to be his territory. Wouldn't Jing Xian's words be equivalent to talking about him? So, he would have to retort. They had defeated the 4 guards, but they hadn't gotten any treasures. Instead, they had gotten a wisp of pure astral power. After absorbing it into their bodies, they could strengthen their bodies slightly. It was a pretty good benefit. This kind of benefit was useless to him. His physique was strong enough. Looks like young Master Tianyun knows a lot. Jing Exen walked up to Tianyun with a smile. She looked very beautiful, but she gave people goosebumps, as if she could see through them. It's okay. Yi Tianyun smiled casually. He was not afraid to look Jing Exen in the eye. When she was about to ask more questions, a beam of light suddenly flashed on the platform next to them. Then the old man from the spiritual mountain appeared in front of them. Congratulations on passing the trial. If you want to take away the things here, you'll have to complete the last step. The old man's voice was emotionless. Yi Tianyun squinted. This should be according to the normal procedure. It wasn't under his control. Complete the last step? What's the last step? Zhu Xing asked confusedly. The last step is to make an oath with the purple gold divine pavilion. You'll swear to be the giant beast's enemy. The oath will be automatically lifted if you kill 500 giant beasts above the Grand Star Venerable level. The old man looked at them and said slowly, "If you don't make the oath, you'll have to leave the treasures behind. Then you can leave. We won't force you." As expected, the necessary procedure was still in place. This was established to kill the giant beasts. When they reached the last step, they would naturally have to make an oath. If they didn't make the oath, who knew if they would kill the giant beasts after they left? As expected, did you all make an oath? Jing Exen turned her head and looked at Yi Tianyun. We haven't. But if we don't make an oath, we won't be able to take away the treasures. Yi Tianyun shrugged. He walked over and said, I promise to be the giant beast's enemy until I kill 500 Grand Star Venerable beasts. If I don't fulfill my promise, I'll be punished by heaven. But the old man nodded and pointed at him. A beam of light fell on his body. This meant that the oath had taken effect. This wasn't a scam. It had really taken effect. Even if he was the master of the purple gold divine pavilion, he still had to fulfill this oath. The old man was following the procedure. He wouldn't choose not to make an oath just because he was the master of the purple gold divine pavilion. The biggest difference between him and the others was that he wouldn't make an oath or take away the treasures. However, Tianyun had to do this in order to make it more realistic and hide his real identity. This wasn't a problem for him. After all, he had to kill the giant beasts. It was just a matter of quantity. Since they saw Tianyun make an oath, they could only make an oath. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to take away any treasures. A star venerable level treasure was a good deal in terms of quality-price ratio. Moreover, they would kill the giant beasts if they ran into them. Chapter 2258. Damn it, I still have to kill giant beasts, how troublesome. Zhu Xing frowned. He felt very unhappy, but he could only make an oath. Killing so many giant beasts before was already troublesome enough. Now I still have to kill 500 giant beasts to get rid of this oath, how annoying. Zhu Xing's face was filled with disgust. He hated doing such things, but he could only do it. Looks like you hate killing giant beasts? Tianyun looked at him indifferently. That's right, I hate killing giant beasts. Why do you want me to kill giant beasts for no reason? What does the life and death of the outside world have to do with me? As long as they don't offend me, I don't care. Now, we still have to look for giant beasts to kill? Where are we going to look? Zhu Xing was most worried about where to look for giant beasts for major star venerates. Now that the giant beast clan has basically been exterminated, there's not even a trace of them left. How are we going to find 500 giant beasts to kill? Jing Xian frowned. She was also worried about this matter. Although there was no time limit, there was always a thought lingering in his mind. If he didn't complete the oath, there would be a knot in his heart. It would cause his thoughts to be blocked, which would be detrimental to his cultivation. This was why they were so dissatisfied even though there was no time limit. Has the giant beast clan been annihilated? Tianyun smiled indifferently. They still didn't know the situation of the giant beast clan. They were all kept in the dark. They didn't know how many members of the giant beast clan had infiltrated the giant beast clan. Even now, many members of the giant beast clan had already infiltrated the giant beast clan. A batch of them had been cleared out before, but now, more had infiltrated. This was enough to show how much the colossal beast race was willing to spend. Other than the giant beast race, he also discovered that the evil spirit race and the green demon race had mixed in. If not for the fact that he was the owner of the violet gold divine pavilion, he might not have known that they had entered. The more the better. When the time comes, we'll kill them all. Tianyun's eyes turned cold. When their numbers increased, he would kill them all. Here he was the absolute master, and no one could escape his control. Unless their cultivation was heaven-defying or they weren't in the violet gold divine pavilion, they would all be under his control. For now, he would let them jump around for a while. When he found a place with no one around, he would catch them and harvest them. After Tian Kuangyue and the others entered, they also took an oath. If they didn't take the oath, they wouldn't be able to obtain the treasures. Most of the geniuses of the clans were able to pass the test of the 4 guards. It wasn't that the difficulty of the guards wasn't high, but the higher one's cultivation, the higher the difficulty. The key was that the guards would not kill them. If they failed, they could try again until they succeeded. They were supposed to fight against the behemoths. If they all died here, who would fight against the behemoths? There was difficulty, but it wasn't that exaggerated. It still required a bit of ability. No matter what, it was a selection of battle prowess, not the strongest disciple, so the requirements weren't that harsh. Just as they were thinking about how to find a behemoth to kill, the old man suddenly said, "All of you have successfully sworn your oaths. Now, move to the Mount Numinous trial area." With that said, he waved his hand, and all of them were swept into the spiritual mountain. It was a familiar scene. Tianyun had been to the training area of the spirit mountain a long time ago. It was the 10th level area, and nothing had changed. It was still the same spirit mountain full of godly medicines. It seemed like the so-called opportunity was just the purple cloud star emperor moving the broken honor flower over, adding another treasure. Originally, this was a kind of reward, so that they could challenge it and slightly stimulate them. This is the Spirit Mountain training area, and there are a total of 10 levels. The old man started explaining the place as soon as he moved them over. It was exactly the same as what he had explained to Tianyun, and he followed the procedure. These were the array spirits that had been set up here, and they would definitely complete their tasks. After listening, they were all extremely excited. They didn't expect that there would be such a trial. Especially when they saw that there were many godly medicines that suited them, they were even more excited. Great, there's the wood remnant grass that I want, which can improve my ability. Zhu Xing's eyes lit up, and he stared excitedly at the godly medicines on the 8th level. He wanted to start the trial immediately. It wasn't just him. Tian Kuangyue also turned his attention to the godly medicines on the 8th level. It was obvious that there were godly medicines that they needed. While they were excited, all the clans outside the gate also saw the situation here. It was obvious that this was the area where the trial officially began, so they could see the situation here in detail. What a huge spirit mountain! If we can collect all the godly medicines on the top, the power of our clans will definitely increase by a lot. Chu Hetong's eyes lit up. Even though their clans were huge, they couldn't help but look greedy at the sight of so many godly medicines. It's a pity that we can only get one stock of godly medicine on each level. It would be great if we could collect all of them. The elders of the Zhu family all felt that it was a pity. Bring back a little more. Tian Yueming's eyes lit up. Both Tian Kuangyue and Tian Xinghuan hoped that they would bring back a little more so that they could have all the godly medicines. The more Tian Xinghuan took, the better. If they really wanted to leave, they would have to hand over the godly medicines. While they were all hoping that the disciples they sent out would come back with so many godly medicines, Tianyun, who was below the Spirit Mountain training area, smiled. He pointed his finger gently, and Zhu Xing and Tian Kuangyue, who had wanted to participate in the trial, disappeared into thin air. The next moment, they appeared outside the gate. They still had that excited expression on their faces, as if they were ready to snatch the godly medicines. When they came to their senses, they were dumbfounded. We don't know that we are going to participate in the trial? Zhu Xing was stunned. He looked at the familiar scene in front of him and the familiar people. Everything seemed so strange. Tian Kuangyue was the same. They were all stunned and didn't know what was going on. The elders of the Zhu family and the Tian family looked over with their eyes wide open. They didn't know what was going on. We were teleported out? Zhu Xing and the others finally realized what was going on. They were inexplicably teleported out. Then why don't you go back and try? The elders of the Zhu family urged Zhu Xing to go back. Zhu Xing nodded and quickly walked towards the gate. Just as he walked over, he bumped into the light gate above and bounced back. Not to mention going back, he couldn't even enter. Tian Kuangyue also tried, but he also couldn't enter. He was completely blocked outside just like the others. At this time, in the Spirit Mountain training area, some people had already started to challenge. They weren't teleported out, but they could challenge freely without any difficulty. What's going on? Their faces turned black. Why were they the only ones who were kicked out? What did they do? They didn't know what they had done wrong, but Tianyun knew. It was because they had provoked Tianyun. It was that simple. If they hadn't made an oath to kill the giant beast, he would have killed the two of them. Chapter 2259. Zhu Xing and Tian Kuangyue had been teleported out. Only they had been teleported out. The people outside were baffled. The people inside were also baffled. They did not know what had happened. Very inexplicably, two people disappeared. All of a sudden, he had caused them to panic. Who knew if they would be the next one to suffer? It would be troublesome if they were teleported out. It would take them a long time to run back in. The key was whether they could come in or not. They did not know what was going on outside. Of course, they did not know the details. No matter what was going on inside, the people outside knew what was going on. They could not go in. They could only watch helplessly from outside. This was the most painful part. But I did not do anything wrong. Why can't I go in? Zhu Xing kept hitting the light screen. A force bounced him off. With his ability, how could he smash this place open? He would only send himself flying. Tian Kuangyue was calmer outside. He was watching the scene on the light screen. He had not expected such a thing to happen. However, he could only accept it. Damn it! What's going on? The elders of the Zhu clan did not know what was going on. They could only watch helplessly from outside. No one knew what was going on, including Tian Yueming. He was also dumbfounded. Fortunately, there were still people inside, namely Heavenly Star Ring. The Zhu clan had also sent people inside. However, Zhu Xing, the most outstanding one, had been driven out. Wasn't this a slap in the face? While the people outside were on the verge of exploding, Tianyun was quite calm inside. How come Zhu Xing and Tian Kuangyue were teleported out? Heavenly Star Ring was confused. The two of them had suddenly disappeared. I don't know. I guess they did something wrong. Tianyun smiled. Jing Xian frowned. She couldn't figure out the reason either. If she could figure out the reason, it would be terrifying. No matter what, the trial had to go on. Tianyun didn't kick everyone out of the room. He didn't think it was necessary to do so. After all, there were only a few people who could really challenge the higher-ups. There were not many people in the first place. Not many Grand Star Venerables could enter. The spirit herbs in the lower layers of the spiritual mountain were ordinary. They did not have to worry about being picked. What he cared about was the divine herbs in the upper layers. Even if they were useless to him, they would be useful to his faction. He stayed on the side as a spectator, watching them go through the trials. Young Master Tian Yun, aren't you going to take the trial? Jing Xian has already come down from one of the trials, and when she saw Tianyun was still motionless, she felt very strange. There's no rush. Let me observe the situation first. Only then can we fight steadily and surely. Tianyun casually made up an excuse. Even Heavenly Star Ring participated in the trial, but he didn't. It seems young Master Tianyun is going to check the upper layers? Jing Xian speculated that Tianyun wanted to see if anyone participated in the trial to evaluate the combat power of the puppet. You Xing Xian, Jing Xing said. Of course I'll try. Since young Master Tianyun said so, I'll try the 9th layer. Jing Xian smiled at him and flew to the 9th layer. Of course I'll give it a try. Since young Master Tianyun said so, I'll give the 9th floor a try. Jing Xian smiled at him and flew up to the 9th floor. Jing Xian was only an early-stage Grand Star Venerable. It would be difficult for her to fight the puppet on the 9th layer. Jing Xian's cultivation was only at the early stage of Grand Star Venerate. It would be difficult for her to fight against the puppets on the 9th floor. The puppet used its full power as soon as it went up, just like it used against Tianyun. It used its full power. Jing Xian knew what the puppet was going to do. She quickly formed hand seals. The lotus behind her rose and bloomed, releasing its strongest power. Jing Xian already knew her opponent's trick. She quickly formed a seal with her hands and the lotus behind her rose up. The lotus flowers bloomed one after another and released their strongest power. While the surrounding cultivators thought she was going to be hit, Jing Xian quickly dodged to the side, barely dodging the shocking attack. Just as the surrounding cultivators thought she was about to be hit, Jing Xian quickly dodged to the side, barely dodging this astonishing attack. Jing Xian kept dodging. Sometimes, she could predict the direction of the puppet's attack and dodge it easily. Jing Xian kept dodging. Sometimes, she could predict the direction of the puppet's attack and dodge it easily. Her ability to predict the opponent's attack was obviously related to her star power. It allowed her to predict the opponent's attack in advance. They were all dumbfounded by such a method. Just by constantly dodging attacks, he would be in an invincible position. After dodging several times, Jing Xian quickly counterattacked. She formed hand seals and shot rays of divine light at the puppet. Every time she attacked, she could push the puppet back a distance. Moreover, the power of the attacks gradually increased. The puppet's fierce attacks were ineffective against her. The main thing was that her dodging speed was equally shocking. If her speed could not keep up, it would be meaningless to predict the opponent's attack angle. As expected of a unique star power. Every one of them is so powerful. No wonder she could pass so many levels easily with such a low cultivation. Yi Tianyun's eyes flickered as he observed Jing Xian's battle situation. Such a unique star Dharma form was indeed quite good. However, he was not tempted. If Jing Xian was scheming against him, he would not mind destroying the flower. After the battle lasted for a period of time, Jing Xian finally won. The puppet's body was full of wounds caused by the jade staff in her hand. The battle should have been very intense. It would take a lot of effort to defeat the puppet. But with Jing Xian's ability, everything became so easy. Phew, I almost failed. After Jing Xian came down, her face was slightly pale. Using this kind of prediction ability would still consume a lot of energy. Miss Jing Xian, you are really amazing. Yi Tianyun had a whole new level of respect for Jing Xian. No wonder she was a super genius. Her ability was really amazing. It's alright. Now, young Master Tianyun, can you go and try? Jing Xian's beautiful eyes flickered. It was as if she was waiting for Yi Tianyun to go and see his real strength. Is that so? I'm not in a hurry. Look, the others have all gone up to challenge. They were all influenced by you. Yi Tianyun raised his head and gestured to the back to look. Jing Xian's success made some of the cultivators who wanted to participate in the 9th level immediately have some courage. They felt that this puppet was not very strong. But when someone really went up, they realized that it was not the case. In an instant, that cultivator was defeated and eliminated. Chapter 2260. The failure of so many cultivators further highlighted Jing Xian's strength. Yi Tianyun was impressed by her powerful prediction ability. With this ability, it would not be difficult for her to face the 10th floor. The 10th floor did not require her to defeat the puppets. All she had to do was keep dodging. Jing Xian's ability allowed her to dodge and endure for the time it took for an incense stick to burn. However, Jing Xian did not know the real situation. Otherwise, she would not have challenged the 9th floor first but the 10th floor. The difficulty of the 10th floor was terrifying for others. For Jing Xian, it was not as difficult as the 9th floor. No one is challenging now. Is young Master Tianyun not going up? Jing Xian was still hoping that Yi Tianyun would go up and show his strength. Miss Jing Xian, do you really want me to go up and give it a try? Yi Tianyun knew what she was thinking. She wanted to analyze him from all angles. Just not going up. Are you going to stay here and watch? Jing Xian did not give up. She wanted Yi Tianyun to go up. Almost. I'm not interested in the spirit herbs up there. Can I just watch from here? Yi Tianyun shrugged. He still did not want to go up. How is that possible? Even if you are a late-stage star venerable, the spirit herbs on the 8th floor and above will be very helpful to you. Jing Xian did not give up. Since it has come to this, I'll give it a try. Yi Tianyun shrugged helplessly. It seemed that Jing Xian would not give up if he did not go up and show his strength. Although he was not afraid of her, there were so many people watching, especially the people from the various clans outside. He had to put on an act no matter what. Then I'll choose the 10th floor. Yi Tianyun leaped up and rushed to the 10th floor. Jing Xian's eyes lit up. She could finally see Yi Tianyun's strength. She hasn't seen Yi Tianyun's power for a long time. She did not team up with Yi Tianyun when dealing with the giant beasts, so she did not know the details. Now that he saw Yi Tianyun go up, he could finally see what level Yi Tianyun's ability had reached. Young Master Tianyun, show me your true strength. A meaningful look flashed across Jing Xian's eyes. Yi Tianyun successfully entered the 10th level. Originally, he was unable to enter the 10th level, but now that he was the master of the Violet Gold Divine Pavilion, not to mention entering a second time, it wouldn't be a problem for him to sleep here. Whatever restrictions, they had nothing to do with him. Just to make it look more realistic, he came up to compete. As soon as they entered, the old man stated the rules at the same time. However, the rules had changed. From the original time of 1 incense stick, it had changed to 5 incense sticks worth of time. The reason why he took so long to upgrade was purely because he didn't want them to earn half a stalk of godly medicine. If they took away even one stalk, it would be a huge loss. Although he could transfer everyone away in one go, it would be too exaggerated to do so, and it would arouse suspicion. Soon, the puppet attacked ferociously. Tianyun quickly defended himself. He pulled out the thunder saber and continuously blocked the puppet's attacks. However, before he could block for long, the puppet threw a heavy punch at Tianyun's chest and sent him flying. Challenge failed. Eliminated. The old man was emotionless. With a slight wave of his hand, he sent Tianyun out. This situation stunned Jing Xian and Tian Xinghuan. They didn't expect Tianyun to lose just like that. Everything happened too quickly. Tianyun didn't even have time to use his Star Dharma idol before he was defeated. At the same time, they witnessed how terrifying the strength of the puppet on the 10th level was. The speed was so fast that Tianyun didn't even have time to use his Star Dharma idol before he lost. Young Master Tianyun lost just like that? Jing Xian was very disappointed. She didn't expect Tianyun to lose so easily. This feeling was completely different from what she had expected. She thought that Tianyun could win. Tian Xinghuan thought the same. He thought that Tianyun wouldn't say much and should be able to win. At the very least, he should be able to win a few matches below the 10th level. Now that he lost the first match, it was really a waste of time. When this scene was seen by the Tian family outside, they were stunned at first. Then, they mocked. So what if this guy's talent is good? It's just that his brain isn't that good. He directly challenged the 10th level. Is he an idiot? Brothery. Tian Yuan sighed. He felt that it was a pity. He didn't expect that Tianyun would end up like this. Tian Kuangyue and Zhu Xing were full of schadenfreude. When they saw Tianyun being sent flying, they both laughed. Directly challenging the 10th level, there's really something wrong with his brain. I can't challenge it, but his situation isn't any better than mine. Zhu Xing laughed. At least, Tianyun's performance made Jing Xian feel very disappointed. Her favorable impression of him was greatly reduced. Tian Kuangyue felt that losing face in front of Tian Xinghuan was also a pleasant thing. After Tianyun disappeared, he was quickly teleported out. I'm very sorry I failed the challenge. After being teleported out, Tianyun smiled at Tian Yuan. It's okay. Victory and defeat are common. It's normal to occasionally fail. Tian Yuan comforted him. Hey, weren't you very arrogant before? You arrived faster than me and obtained the keys so quickly. Looks like you're quite capable. But now you failed. Zhu Xing brought a group of people to surround Tianyun. He sneered, you were protected inside, but now? Can you still be arrogant? Zhu Xing brought the other elders to surround Tianyun. The other elders' gazes were very unfriendly. They had all seen Zhu Xing's situation inside. They must be very annoyed with Tianyun. Now, they were sizing up Tianyun because they had more people. I'll give you two choices. Either you die or you hand over the treasures. Zhu Xing glared at him fiercely. Don't tell me you don't have any treasures. You got a Star Venerable level treasure inside. Looking at the group of Grand Star Venerables surrounding him, Tianyun smiled faintly. He did not care at all. Oh, it seems like you're very confident you can take the treasures from me. Seeing that Tianyun could still smile, the others thought Tianyun must have been beaten silly. They only had 2 people at most. How could they resist the Zhu family's Grand Star Venerables? The Zhu family had sent 8 Grand Star Venerables. 2 of them were in the late stage of Grand Star Venerables, and they could easily crush their opponents. What do you think? Zhu Xing looked at Tianyun as if he was looking at an idiot. Tian Yuan's gaze turned cold. He sent a sound transmission to Yun, Brother E, let's kill our way out together. Chapter 2261. Not only was Tianyun not nervous in the face of so many powerhouses surrounding him, he could even smile. After all, the people surrounding him were no small matter. They were the strongest fighters of the Zhu family. Who would be able to stop them when there were so many of them? Others might be worried, but he wasn't. This was his territory. He could move these great star venerables to a dangerous area with a flick of his finger. They wouldn't even know how they died then. He couldn't do what the Purple Cloud Star Emperor did, where he could freeze them in midair and kill them at will. Only a divine star venerable could do that. His cultivation wasn't that strong, so he naturally couldn't do that. However, he could still use the Purple Gold Divine Pavilion to increase his strength greatly. He didn't feel any pressure in escaping. I wonder if there's anyone else? Tianyun looked ahead and saw the Zhu family surrounding him with a cold expression. Arrogant, too arrogant. I heard this kid is a super genius. He's young, but he's too arrogant. Yes, too arrogant. His cultivation isn't bad. If he keeps cultivating, he'll break through to the divine star venerable level sooner or later. Now he's provoking the Zhu family. How irrational. It's not just irrational. He's simply stupid. Some geniuses are like this. They're too arrogant and put themselves in danger. The family elders at the side criticized Tianyun, thinking it was a pity. So what if he wasn't even 10,000 years old? He could only kneel in the face of so many strong enemies. By the time the surrounding elders made way for them, they had already been surrounded so tightly that it would be extremely difficult for them to escape. Tian Yueming and the others were gloating over his misfortune, not showing any intention of helping. Since Tianyun wanted to die, they were happy to watch from the side. Most importantly, they didn't like this kind of traitor. They couldn't wait for Tianyun to die. Oh, I almost forgot about you. Tianyun glanced in the direction of the Mu clan. Just now, the Mu clan's elder was also looking at him with displeasure. Immediately, he stretched out his hand and flicked his wrist. Very quickly, Mu Ran, who was in the middle of the trial, was sent flying just like that. When he landed, he staggered a few steps back and almost fell to the ground. Mu Ran? When the Mu clan saw that Mu Ran was also ejected, they were extremely shocked. Why was Mu Ran also sent flying out for no reason? What's going on? Mu Ran wanted to cry, but no tears came out. Zhu Xing and Tian Kuangyue were teleported out, but why was he teleported out as well? This made the Mu clan, who were originally gloating over their misfortune, immediately collapse. They originally thought that Tianyun was being irrational, but now they were in no mood at all. Zhu Xing and the others paid a little attention to it before turning their gazes over again. They felt a little happy in their hearts. Since they couldn't stay inside, they couldn't bear to see other people staying inside. Hurry up and make your choice. Are you going to hand it in or not? Zhu Xing's expression was ferocious. He was prepared to foresee Tianyun being ruthlessly abused. He might even slowly kill Tianyun. It was impossible for him to let go of Tianyun. The main reason was that Tianyun's talent was astonishing. If he let him go, there would definitely be trouble in the future. You only dare to rely on your family's help. If you have the ability, why don't you fight me one-on-one? Tianyun looked at him with a mocking expression. He wasn't in a hurry to kill everyone. It wasn't that he didn't have the ability to do so. It was just that the effect of killing everyone was direct. However, he felt that the giant beast clan in the Violet Gold Divine Pavilion was getting restless. Many of them were rushing over. Many of them were already guarding outside. This meant that the war was about to begin. Under such circumstances, although he didn't like the Zhu clan, they still had some combat strength. It was not bad to let them fight against the giant beast clan. It was better than being killed by him. That would be a waste of combat strength. Why not? Zhu Xing was immediately infuriated. He didn't want others to say that he only relied on his family and not himself. Tianyun laughed when he saw that Zhu Xing accepted the challenge so readily. Zhu Xing was so easily angered. His state of mind was really unstable. He originally had such a huge advantage. However, he was instantly crippled. If it was him, he would directly call a group of people over and do whatever he wanted. As for whether it was fair or not, winning was the best outcome. Zhu Xing stood up and said to the elders behind him, "Leave this to me. I will let him know the true gap between us." The elders looked at each other and saw the helplessness in each other's eyes. However, they still decided to support Zhu Xing. It was good to be able to settle things like this. Moreover, they were all at the side. If Yi Tianyun made a move, they would immediately attack. Under such circumstances, they could only let Zhu Xing act recklessly. At the same time, they wanted Zhu Xing to practice. Zhu Xing's state of mind wasn't very good. However, his combat talent was really not bad. Yi Tianyun agreed with this. He had passed so many trials so quickly and even dealt with the 4 guards in the end. This meant that he was quite capable. He couldn't be trash if he could cultivate to such a level. If he was trash, then the whole world would be trash. Zhu Xing's biggest weakness was that he was easily angered. If he was not in a good state of mind, he could easily fall into the opponent's trap. What gap? Yi Tianyun found it funny. This Zhu Xing was indeed an arrogant person. He couldn't tolerate even the slightest mistake. Once he was humiliated, he would do anything to get back at Yi Tianyun. A gap that can't be bridged. Zhu Xing walked towards Yi Tianyun step by step. The unique star Dharma idol behind him burst out. A huge heavenly star scarlet wolf appeared behind him. Thick wolf fur also appeared on the surface of his body. It looked quite tough. He was still very cautious when facing Yi Tianyun. He immediately burst out with his full combat prowess. He was a mid-stage Grand Star Venerable, while Yi Tianyun was a late-stage Star Venerable. He had to be cautious. Zhu Xing might sound arrogant and prideful, but when it came to a real fight, he would still make a judgment. No matter how useless Zhu Xing was, he wouldn't lose his mind because of anger. Unless his opponent was weak, he wouldn't be cautious. This was also one of his carelessness. For example, if Yi Tianyun was an early-stage Grand Star Venerable, he definitely wouldn't be so cautious. That was Zhu Xing's character. Sometimes he was cautious, and sometimes he was careless. It would depend on the situation. Just because of this unique star Dharma idol? Yi Tianyun said calmly. Yes, just because of my unique star Dharma idol. Zhu Xing's gaze was cold. Don't think that you're stronger than me just because your cultivation is higher than mine. Some things can't be measured by cultivation alone. Chapter 2262. He had his own star Dharma form, 48 units of astral power, star venerable level treasures, and amazing martial techniques. With so many layers, his fighting power would not be that simple. It was not difficult to fight someone at a higher level than him. It was especially easy for Zhu Xing to fight someone in the late stage of the Grand Star Venerable realm. He could kill his opponent in a second by just relying on the combination of astral power and his own star Dharma form. So, this is what you're relying on. Yi Tianyun shook his head and smiled. He had to admit that Zhu Xing was simple and crude, but also shallow. That's right. This is what I'm relying on. Do you have it? Zhu Xing's eyes were full of disdain. He felt superior to Yi Tianyun. As long as he had his own star Dharma form, he would be superior to others. Then, let's give it a try. Yi Tianyun smiled faintly. His aura surged crazily. He was ready to fight. Don't worry. I'll spare your life, so that Sister Jingxin can see how miserable you look, Zhu Xing said with a cold gaze. I'll let her know who's more outstanding. But she doesn't like me. Tianyun shrugged his shoulders and said, Are you misunderstanding something? She just wants to get information from me and understand my situation. Don't treat me as a rival in love, okay? Nonsense. I saw her flirting with you. Don't try to defend yourself. Zhu Xing said angrily. Bro, she just wants to figure out how to deal with me and understand my situation. You're wrongly accusing me. Although Yi Tianyun did not want to explain anything to him, the way the people around looked at him was a little different. There were so many big families watching. How could it not be wrongly accusing Jingxin of flirting with him? Especially Chu Hetong and the others, they all looked at him strangely, as if they were looking at their future husband. After watching for a while, they shook their heads and felt it was a pity. They probably felt that Yi Tianyun was good in all aspects, but he did not have a strong background, so he was not in their consideration at all. Maybe he had a divine star venerable behind him. Previously, they were afraid that Yi Tianyun had an expert backing him up. However, he still hadn't appeared. If this continued, he would be dead for sure. At first, he wanted Zhu Xing to be careful and not cause any conflict with Yi Tianyun. Now, there was no need to worry. After observing for so long, he felt that there was no one helping him. He was alone. At most, Tian Yuan would help, but that was meaningless. He wouldn't be of much help at all. Moreover, they had already come this far. It would be easy for them to take away the star-level treasure. Who knows, Yi Tianyun might have collected some other treasures along the way. If he looted the place, he might really get a lot of good stuff. Don't try to defend yourself. I will let you know the consequences of approaching my little sister Jingxin. Zhu Xing had already lost his mind. He wanted to beat up Yi Tianyun and let Jing Xian witness his abilities. Yi Tianyun felt helpless. It seemed that he had been misunderstood. The big families around him were looking at him strangely. The Chu family and the Zhu family had wanted to unite by marriage. Yi Tianyun had interfered. Wasn't he courting death? Then Zhu Xing charged at Yi Tianyun. He stomped on the ground and turned into a giant red wolf, pouncing at him. Scorching waves of fire spread out. The temperature of the area rose rapidly. Even the air turned red. Yi Tianyun. Kneel! Zhu Xing howled. The heavenly star red wolf's power shrouded the area. The flames in the sky gathered into a sea of fire. Then they turned into a heavenly star red wolf and pressed down. He wanted to use this overbearing power to force Yi Tianyun to kneel. You want to force me to kneel with such power? Yi Tianyun sneered. The power in his body surged out crazily. He did not use his unique star laws. Instead, he used the 4 star laws that he had obtained. They turned into shadows and floated at the side. His power quickly stacked up. This was not the end. He pulled out the Thunder Long Saber. The power in his body surged again and poured into the Thunder Long Saber. At the same time, he activated Crazy Mode. Crazy Mode, 50 times damage stacked. Without activating the star power, it was already 50 times damage stacked. Now, with the special power of the 4 star laws, he was able to resist Zhu Xing's power in one go. Break for me! Yi Tianyun waved the Thunder Long Saber. The thick thunder light giant saber slashed towards the heavenly star red wolf. The overbearing power easily split the heavenly star red wolf into 2. The remaining saber aura continued to slash towards Zhu Xing. Lightning flashed. Zhu Xing's expression changed. He did not expect that his opponent would be able to block his killing move when he used his full power. Scarlet Flame Shock. Zhu Xing didn't dare to hide anymore. He slammed his palm into the air, and a powerful flame spread out from his palm, causing the entire space to shake and distort. Circle after circle of flames spread out like a thick wall of fire towards Yi Tianyun. After the thick lightning aura hit the wall of fire, it was quickly weakened. At the same time, it was slightly dispersed by the flames. When it hit the second wall of fire, it completely dispersed. It was indeed a galaxy-grade peak martial technique. It could explode the power of his cultivation to its fullest. Is this the gap you were talking about? In that case, continue to break for me. Yi Tianyun laughed loudly. The power of a late-stage star venerable erupted from his body. A majestic power burst out of his body and gathered on the Thunder Long Saber. The Thunder Long Saber buzzed as if it had sensed the powerful power. It was extremely excited. Boom! The Thunder Long Saber aura slashed towards Zhu Xing again. Wherever it went, the space was distorted. The crackling lightning spread in all directions like a dense spiderweb. As soon as it touched the thick wall of fire, the wall of fire was destroyed by the lightning aura. Everything was turned into nothingness. In one breath, Yi Xian broke several thick walls of fire and reached Zhu Xing instantly. Zhu Xing's so-called killing move was just a decoration. How is it possible? Zhu Xing was shocked, but he was not slow. He waved his hand quickly and finally took out the star venerable grade treasure he had obtained before. He used it to block the attack. Boom! The lightning aura hit him. Even though he took out the star venerable grade treasure to block it in a hurry, he could not suppress Yi Tianyun's overbearing saber quickly. With a loud noise, Zhu Xing was sent flying. In the end, he hit the wall. He grunted and spat out a mouthful of blood, which dyed the ground in front of him red. His body was charred black, and he seemed to be in an extremely sorry state. Chapter 2263. Zhu Xing was completely defeated by Yi Tianyun without using the star aspect. Everyone was dumbfounded by the result. That was a unique star aspect, not an ordinary star aspect. In this case, Yi Tianyun is still defeated, which shocked other people, but more people think that Yi Tianyun is really amazing. It would have been fine if he had defeated Zhu Xing with the star aspect, but he had defeated his opponent without using the star aspect. It was unbelievable. To Candle Star, it was the greatest humiliation. He had always been proud of his unique star aspect, but he had been defeated by Yi Tianyun without using the star aspect. It was easy to imagine how complicated he felt. Zhu Xing's greatest advantage was his unique star aspect. Now that he could not defeat Yi Futian even though he had the star aspect, how could he fight? This is unbelievable. They were all dumbfounded. Chu Hutong and the others finally understood why Jing Exin had asked them not to fight. His power was too shocking. Most late-stage star venerables could not endure Zhu Xing's burst of power. Not only did Yi Tianyun endure it, but he also defeated his opponent without using the star aspect. Cough, cough, cough. Zhu Xing stood up from the ground, his body wobbling. Yi Tianyun's attack had injured him quite a bit. He felt pain all over his body. He had not experienced this feeling for a long time. It could be said that he had always been the one suppressing his opponent, not the other way around. I will kill you. Zhu Xing roared. The scarlet wolf behind him let out a howl and started to merge with his body, healing his injuries quickly. Very quickly, he reached the stage where he was one with his beast, forming a complete entity. His entire body was covered in red fur, and every single strand of fur looked extremely sturdy. More importantly, the fluctuations of the flames in the surroundings rapidly rose by a large margin. With the ability to transform into his original body, his power had truly reached its peak. He had not used his full power before. He had used his full power when he merged with the star aspect. Only then could he achieve the strongest power. Zhu Xing believed that he could still defeat Yi Tianyun without transforming into his original body. Now, it seemed like he was overthinking. He needed to unleash his full strength to kill Yi Tianyun. Although this was not his original intention, he did not care about anything else in his rage. He only wanted to ruthlessly defeat his opponent. With so many elders of the big families watching, one could imagine how humiliated they felt. If he didn't get back at them, their Zhu family wouldn't be able to raise their heads in front of the other families. Even if they felt that he had won unfairly, at least he had killed Yi Tianyun instead of Yi Tianyun defeating him. Winner takes all. Everything was based on the result. The degree of fusion can reach this level, not bad. Yi Tianyun said with a bit of appreciation for Zhu Xing. Generally, those who can achieve this level of fusion have a very high degree of fusion. Not all cultivators can achieve this step. The higher the level of the star aspect, the harder it was to reach this level. Now that Zhu Xing had reached this step, Lin Fan admired him a little. However, admiration was one thing, Zhu Xing was a little too narrow-minded. Your power is not bad. I have a whole new level of respect for you to reach this level, Yi Tianyun said with a faint smile, looking at Zhu Xing, whose aura had soared. Everyone's expression changed. They did not expect Yi Tianyun to be so calm at this moment. Was he really not going to use the star aspect to fight? If he could really defeat his opponent without using the star aspect, it would definitely be a heaven-defying feat after all. Only some special late-stage Grand Star Venerables could fight Candle Star at this level. How could Yi Tianyun not be heaven-defying if he could defeat Zhu Xing without the help of other forces? I'll give you one chance to use the star aspect. Otherwise, you will never have the chance to use it again. After the Candle Star burst out, it did not attack immediately. Instead, it generously displayed the Star Dharma idol for him. In fact, he was also trying to save his face. If both of them used the star aspect, he would feel different when he defeated Yi Tianyun. At least after he defeated Yi Tianyun, He would prove that his overall power was stronger than Yi Tianyun's. If he did not kill Yi Tianyun, he would be criticized for not using the star aspect and had an unfair advantage. Although the result was the most important, reputation was equally important. I should be the one to say this, but I have to change it. If I use Star Dharma Idol, you won't stand a chance at all. Yi Tianyun said with a smile, looking very confident. Arrogant. Zhu Xing said angrily, if that's the case, then go to hell. Zhu Xing roared and stomped the ground with all his might. Fine cracks appeared on the sturdy ground. He quickly turned into a huge ball of flames and charged over. The huge flaming tornado swept everything in its surroundings over. If the cultivators in the surroundings did not have low cultivations, they would have been sucked in immediately. Even though they were far away, they could still feel the terrifying suction. If they were sucked in, they would definitely be burned to ashes. Even if they were not burned to ashes, there were countless red thorns in the flaming tornado. Those were Zhu Xing's hairs. Countless strands of hair could easily grind anything that was swept in into powder. If something was grinded to pieces and burned to ashes, such a killing move would terrify people. At this time, everyone's eyes are looking at Yi Tianyun. Is Yi Tianyun still so stubborn that he won't even use Star Dharma Idol? If he did not use it, he would not stand a chance. Zhu Xing's current power was definitely at the peak. If his cultivation improved further, he would be invincible among the Grand Star Venerables. At this moment, Jing Exen happened to be bounced out of the teleportation formation. She had failed to challenge the 10th floor. After the time was changed, she could not last more than the time for 5 incense sticks to burn. She could only last for 2 incense sticks to burn at most before she failed completely. Her star aspect could help her predict many attacks, but she had to cooperate with her body to be able to dodge them quickly. After dodging for too many times, she finally lost her strength and could only fail. She saw Yi Tianyun and Zhu Xing fighting as soon as she came out of the teleportation formation. Don't you want to know what kind of star aspect I have? I'll show you now. Yi Tianyun's eyes turned cold. The unique star aspect behind him surged quickly. Soon, a huge 7-colored emperor dragon dashed out from behind him. The dragon's roar echoed in the entire palace. Unique star aspect. Chapter 2264. Unique Star Law? This stunned everyone. In an instant, Candle Star's strength, which they were so proud of, had no advantage at all. If Yi Tianyun had an ordinary star law, he would have had an advantage. But now that Yi Tianyun had a unique star law, what else was there to say? He was able to defeat Candle Star even before he used his star law idol. Now that he had used his unique star law, what other advantages did Zhu Xing have? This is impossible. How can you have a unique star law? Zhu Xing, who was rushing over, roared. However, his attack did not slow down at all. Once his attack was unleashed, there was no reason for him to retract it. You think you can have it but I can't? Yi Tianyun didn't transform into his original body. He only released his strongest astral power and stacked them on top of each other. 68 cubic meters of astral power was indeed terrifying. It was much more powerful than Zhu Xing. If he transformed into his original body, he would be even more powerful. Yi Tianyun wouldn't give Zhu Xing any chance to turn the tables. The unique star law behind him opened its mouth and swallowed Zhu Xing's astral power. It devoured 1/3 of Zhu Xing's astral power and turned it into his own, 71 cubic meters of astral power. 67 cubic meters of astral power was already incredible. Now that he had increased it to 71 cubic meters, it was terrifying and had reached an unprecedented level. The others turned pale. This power was incredible. How were they going to fight? Jing Exen was stunned when she saw the star law behind Yi Tianyun. Then she was pleasantly surprised. So, it's him? I want you to die. Zhu Xing let out another furious roar. Blood gushed out of his body and surged into his hair. His power rose once again. But it was meaningless. The increase in power was powerful, but it wasn't as powerful as Yi Tianyun's 71 cubic meters of astral power. The key was that Zhu Xing had 71 cubic meters of astral power. His real power was more than 71 cubic meters. He had the bonus of crazy mode. His combat power was incredible. Get down. Yi Tianyun stepped forward in the void, and the seven-color Emperor Dragon above him released its own dragon power and slammed forward. It looked like a simple and unadorned move, but with a single slap, it easily dispersed the terrifying flame tornado. Together with the candle star, it was smashed into the ground and flattened. The wolf fur on his body fell off completely. What sturdy wolf fur! What flames that could burn everything! Under this slap, everything was scattered. Even Zhu Xing was severely injured. This verified what Yi Tianyun had said. If Yi Tianyun used his star law, then Zhu Xing would have no chance at all. Now it was really so. How could there be any chance to speak of? He was directly smashed to pieces by his palm. Kill him. Zhu Xing raised his head with great difficulty and glared at them viciously. He wanted the other elders to kill him. When the elders of the Zhu family saw this, they were also furious. The seven of them quickly surrounded him. I don't know where you're from, but you must die today. They did not dare to let Yi Tianyun go. Once they let Yi Tianyun go, if Yi Tianyun became a divine star venerable one day and held a grudge, the Zhu family would really be done for. As soon as he finished speaking, the seven great star venerables all unleashed their level 6 star law. The seven elders surrounded him. They were the strongest fighting force of the Zhu family. Just because of what you said, you must also die today. Yi Tianyun said calmly, I wanted to let you go, but it seems like you're not satisfied. Immediately Yi Tianyun smiled. His smile was so cold that it made the surrounding elders tremble, and a bad feeling welled up in their hearts. You're talking big. Do you think you can defeat us just because you defeated Zhu Xing? You're too naive. Cut the crap. Come and accept your death. The first elder of the Zhu family turned his hand, and a star venerable level treasure appeared in his hand. Another elder was also holding a star venerable level treasure. No wonder they were not afraid of Yi Tianyun. They all had powerful treasures. Besides, the seven of them were attacking him together, so they were quite confident. However, this was not enough to scare Yi Tianyun. I'll show you what a real body looks like. Yi Tianyun stepped forward. The seven-color Emperor Dragon instantly integrated into his body. His body immediately made a crackling sound, and soon his body was abruptly expanded by a big circle. Thick dragon scales covered his body. At the same time, colorful lights were emitted from the surface of his body. This caused his already frightening aura to increase explosively once again. Don't let him finish merging with his body. They were shocked. Seeing this, they did not dare to stay outside and watch. Instead, they all surrounded him and attacked him. The elders of the other big families all moved away from him. They did not dare to get close to him in case they got hurt. They would not help him. They were not related to Yi Tianyun. Why would they help him? He couldn't wait to get as far away as possible. It was even more impossible for him to get close. Tianyuan wanted to help, but Yi Tianyun told him not to. He could handle it himself. Under such circumstances, heaven-traveling Yuan could only watch from the side. Tian Xinghuan came out. She had challenged Lin Fan a few times, but she had failed. She had just come out, and she saw such a scene. She was shocked. She opened her mouth, wanting to say something, but the fight had already started. Boom! The attacks of the seven Grand Star Venerables landed in the area where Yi Tianyun was. They created a destructive power. Under this bombardment, the hard ground rapidly cracked into a dense spider web that rapidly spread in all directions. Is he dead? Zhu Xing was barely able to raise his head and observe the situation over here. His red eyes were filled with joy. Even if he could not kill Yi Tianyun, he could at least see Yi Tianyun die in front of him. Plus, Yi Tianyun's unique star Dharma idol was there. He wanted Yi Tianyun to die even more. When the others thought Yi Tianyun was dead, a ghostly voice appeared behind them. Who died? Everyone turned around and saw Yi Tianyun standing behind them, unharmed. He was not a fool. He would not stand there and let them attack him. With a simple shift he had managed to escape. Yi Tianyun had finished merging with his body. He looked like a fierce dragon in human form. His thick dragon scales were terrifying. His aura was much stronger than Zhu Xing's. Chapter 2265. Other star venerables would have been scared off by the Zhu family's grand star venerables. There were 7 grand star venerables in front of them. 2 of them were in the late stage of the star venerables, and they all had star venerable level treasures. With the 2 superimposed, their strength could be said to have reached an extremely powerful realm. They could defeat all the factions on the desolate dragon planet. Most of the factions on the Red Moon planet would not be able to resist such a terrifying attack. Yi Tianyun's expression did not change. He looked calm, as if the 7 Grand Star Venerables in front of him were not Grand Star Venerables, but 7 Star Venerables. Devour the starry sky. Yi Tianyun swallowed the astral power of 4 Grand Star Venerables and turned it into the astral power above his head. Yi Tianyun's limit was 68 cubes of astral power. Now that he had swallowed the astral power of 4 people, the nebula above his head spun crazily. It was like a galaxy enveloping him. He went from 68 cubes of astral power to 80 cubes in one go. He could look down on everyone. 80 cubes of astral power. The group of people gulped. Some of them almost swallowed their own tongues. They had never seen someone in the late stage of the Star Venerables explode with 80 cubes of astral power. Just this combination alone was enough to kill any Star Venerables in the late stage. They had rarely seen Divine Star Venerables, but they thought even a Divine Star Venerate would not be killed in one move. They would probably be able to resist a few moves. Such a terrifying power shook the surrounding space, as if it would collapse at any moment. Especially the 80 cubes of astral power above their heads. If they were not in the purple-gold Divine Pavilion, they would have exploded. The area it covered was too wide. Even the roof in the sky was about to explode. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. They were afraid of being dominated by astral power. Even Divine Star Venerables might not be able to reach 80 cubes of astral power. However, Tianyun could do it. What a strange ability. I thought he could only use it once. Who knew he could swallow so many in a row? Chu Hetong and the others were stunned. They had never seen Yi Tianyun's ability before. Now that they had seen it for themselves, they were truly shocked. When they devoured the star power of the candle star, they were all shocked. They felt that there was such a special ability. Now it was even more shocking. He swallowed the star power of 4 people in a row, increasing his own star power by a large amount, and at the same time, weakening the star power of his opponents by a large amount. After the 2 superimposed, it was equivalent to a double enhancement. They had never seen such a terrifying ability before. It showed them what a unique star Dharma Laksana was like. Even the candle star's unique star form wasn't this powerful, was it? Initially, I didn't want to get rid of all of you. After all, you are a large group of experts that can be used to deal with the giant beast clan. However, I have to make an example out of you now. How could he not know that many forces were eyeing them covetously? Most importantly, if he wanted to intimidate them, he had to unleash his strongest power and completely suppress them. At this moment, the 7 Grand Star Venerables quickly surrounded him. They gathered their power again and attacked Yi Tianyun. Go to hell! The elders of the Zhu clan showed ferocious expressions. Let's see where you can hide this time. They were shocked by Yi Tianyun's ability, but they were still very confident in themselves. If the 7 Grand Star Venerables worked together, would they still be unable to deal with Yi Tianyun? Yi Tianyun's gaze turned cold. If it were in the past, I might have been a little afraid. But now, he increased his power again. The giant image of the 7-colored Emperor Dragon charged forward to meet the attack head-on. He did not even try to hide. He chose to face them head-on. Boom! The majestic 7-colored Emperor Dragon let out a dragon roar and broke the light net encircling it. It was like tearing a piece of paper. The joint attack of the 7 Grand Star Venerables was so weak before Yi Tianyun's attack. Puff! They all spat up blood. After their attacks were torn apart, they suffered a backlash from their own power. This was the weakness of a joint attack. Once their attack was broken, they would suffer a backlash. It might not be serious, but they would at least be injured. Most importantly, the 7 Grand Star Venerables could not withstand a single attack from Tianyun. When they were sent flying by the backlash, before they could recover, a huge figure had already covered them and directly pressed down from the sky. With a dong sound, one of the elders was smashed into a bloody mist. The first one, Tianyun said softly. His voice was not loud, but it spread throughout the area and reached everyone's ears. Soon, Tianyun charged at the next elder and struck him again. With a dong sound, he smashed him into a bloody mist. In less than half a breath's time, he killed 2 elders easily. It felt like the Grand Star Venerables were like tofu that could be smashed easily. The second one, Tianyun's voice is like a curse. It reaches everyone's ears. It's like being hit in the heart. It's quite depressing, even fear. They imagine themselves being punched. They could not resist it at all. Tianyun didn't use any fancy moves. He just used his fist to hit the ground. However, such a simple move contained an incomparably terrifying power. All of the power was condensed into this punch. Tianyun didn't stop. He rushed to the other elder again, taking advantage of the fact that they haven't recovered yet. He wants to kill them. The third one. The fourth one. Finally, after killing 4 in a row, they finally calmed down. They are all on guard, breathing heavily. Their eyes are staring at Tianyun in case he continues to attack. Do you think you can resist my attack like this? Tianyun walked toward them step by step. They felt the palace shake with each step. Absolute power. No matter how you defend, you can't resist my attack. Dong! Tianyun charged at one of them again. A horrifying aura shrouded him. That elder turned pale. His eyes were filled with Tianyun's figure. At the last moment of his life, his eyes were filled with Tianyun's figure. The elder tried his best to resist Tianyun's attack, but it was useless, and he was killed by Tianyun's punch. This was true absolute power. In the face of absolute power, any kind of resistance was futile. No one could resist the superposition of 80 cubic meters of astral power. Not only did it have 80 cubic meters of astral power, but it also had the superposition of crazy mode. Who could resist it? It was far beyond the late stage of a Grand Star Venerable. It was almost on par with a Divine Star Venerable. The fifth one. Chapter 2266. 5 of the Zhu family's elders were killed. 2 of them were late-stage Star Venerables. He did not prioritize killing the weakest, but the strongest. Killing 2 elders in an instant was equivalent to cutting off 2 of the Zhu family's arms. Now that 5 of them were killed, even if the remaining 2 were not killed, the Zhu family was basically done for. They had fallen from the top of the rankings to the bottom. However, it was impossible for Tianyun to let the other 2 go. Since they wanted to attack him, they had to pay the price. The 6th. The 7th. All 7 elders of the Zhu family were killed. Not a single one was left. The only one still alive was Zhu Xing, who was lying on the ground, unable to move. He had seen all the elders killed with his own eyes. He was the only one left. It's over, Tianyun's demonic voice finally ended. Everyone could not calm down from their shock. They would probably never forget this scene. All the Zhu family's experts were killed by Tianyun alone, and it was a complete massacre. Such a tyrannical posture made them feel incomparably horrified, and they felt that everything was a dream. Other great Star Venerables would not be able to do this. In the end, he walked up to Zhu Xing, whose eyes were filled with fear and disbelief. He looked down at him and said calmly, "Finally, it's your turn." Zhu Xing looked at him with fear in his eyes. He had not expected Tianyun to kill all the Zhu family's elders. He had thought the Zhu family's elders could kill Tianyun. He had not expected the result to be so miserable. All of them were killed. You're a demon." Zhu Xing screamed miserably. You killed all the Zhu family's elders? Demon, you're a demon. If you don't provoke me, then I won't be a devil," Tianyun said with a smile. It's time to send you to hell. The other elders are waiting for you to go with them. Lee Tianyun said with a smile. You'll die a horrible death if you kill me. Our Zhu family has a divine star venerable. Zhu Xing roared, trying to threaten him with the prestige of a divine star venerable. You speak as if your Zhu family's divine star venerables wouldn't come to kill me if I didn't kill you, Lee Tianyun said indifferently. Aren't you going to bid farewell to Miss Jingxin one last time? Jingxin. How could Zhu Xing still be in the mood? Everyone was dead, but he anxiously turned his head to look at the Chu family and roared, Are you just going to watch our Zhu family die? Didn't you want to marry our Zhu family before? Help me kill him quick. Young Master Zhu, we can't do that. Chua looked at him with pity. Yi Tianyun had given them too much of a shock. If they were to attack Yi Tianyun, even if they managed to kill Yi Tianyun, the price they would have to pay would be very heavy. As for the marriage, all the elders of the Zhu clan were dead, so what marriage was there to talk about? Without any powerhouses, the Zhu clan was just an empty shell. They had heard of divine star venerable powerhouses, but who knew where they were? It was rumored that the Zhu clan had a divine star venerable powerhouse, but it seemed that he had left the Zhu clan to travel the world. How could such an illusory thing have any deterrent effect if it was said to be true? If it was said that he was in seclusion in the Zhu clan, it would have some deterrent effect. Zhu Xing's eyes narrowed. He hadn't expected such an ending. Then he looked at Jing Exin. Jing Exion's gaze had never changed. She was still very indifferent. She didn't care about him at all. Zhu Xing's heart immediately sank to the bottom. He felt that everything was so miserable. That's right, didn't you say that the possessor of the star aspect unique to the desolate dragon planet was very weak? I am that person from the desolate dragon planet. After Yi Tianyun finished speaking, he lifted his foot and stomped down on Zhu Xing. Only the two of them could hear him. Zhu Xing's eyes narrowed. His eyes were filled with shock. After thinking about it carefully, it really was so. Unique star aspect powerhouses. Scarlet Moon Planet had two unique star aspect owners. Now that Yi Tianyun was the possessor of a unique star aspect, he definitely wasn't from Scarlet Moon Planet. Then he might be from the Desolate Dragon Planet. That aboriginal planet, how can he be so strong? Zhu Xing couldn't believe this fact. Yi Tianyun didn't continue to explain. He lifted his foot and stomped down heavily. When he was about to stomp him to death, a sigh suddenly came from the side. Little friend, why are you so heartless? Let go of the Zhu clan's last hope. An old voice came from behind a group of cultivators. At the same time, a wave of power surged over and wrapped around Zhu Xing's body. This made the foot that Yi Tianyun was about to stomp down forcefully. He couldn't continue even half a step. At that moment, an old man walked out of the crowd. Suddenly, someone shouted in shock, It's Lord Mei Qing Celestial Star Elder? Mei Qing Celestial Star Elder? They were stunned. A divine star elder had appeared to protect Zhu Xing. They had all heard of Mei Qing Celestial Star Elder. He was a super powerhouse from a long time ago. Everyone thought he was dead. They didn't expect him to still be alive and even come in. However, there was no point in coming in. He couldn't enter the training area. He was too old to enter. Haha, it's Lord Mei Qing Celestial Star Elder. Great, you're finally willing to help. Zhu Xing laughed. His eyes, which had been full of despair, suddenly became full of hope. He even became arrogant. With the help of a divine star elder, what was there for him to be afraid of? The power under Yi Tianyun's feet surged. He stomped hard and the barrier protecting Zhu Xing was shattered. His foot landed directly on Zhu Xing's head. Mei Qing Celestial Star Elder roared. He didn't expect that Yi Tianyun would dare to do this after seeing him. Yi Tianyun turned a deaf ear to him. He stepped out and completely crushed Zhu Xing's head. Even his soul was destroyed. Now, even Mei Qing Celestial Star Elder couldn't save him unless he went to the Death Clan. However, the Death Clan had joined Yi Tianyun, so it was impossible to find him. Ding! Successfully killed Zhu Xing, obtained 2 billion star energy points and 1,000 kill points. Obtained unique star aspect, heavenly star crimson wolf. The items that dropped were a bit monotonous, but just the unique star aspect was enough to satisfy him. Zhu Xing's unique star aspect was definitely not bad. It might not be comparable to the 5-colored Emperor Dragon's unique star aspect, but it definitely had its own highlights. It was just that Zhu Xing couldn't fully use it. It didn't mean that he could use its power just because he could fuse them. Chapter 2267. Yi Tianyun had crushed Zhu Xing in front of Divine Star Venerate Mei Qing. Mei Qing Divine Star Venerate's words had gone in one ear, and he hadn't paid any attention to them. Under such circumstances, they were completely shocked. If he had dared to face the Zhu clan before, that could be called courage. However, treating Divine Star Venerate Mei Qing like this was courting death. This was a Divine Star Venerate, not a Great Star Venerate. The gap between the two was like a chasm. If Divine Star Venerate Mei Qing was provoked, he could really slap someone to death. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. They had seen bold people, but they had never seen someone so bold. This guy is too heaven-defying. He doesn't even listen to Divine Star Venerate Mei Qing's words? Chu Hetong and the others were shocked. No matter what, he had to give Divine Star Venerate some face, right? Tian Yuan and the others shook their heads and smiled bitterly. They didn't expect Yi Tianyun to really dare to do this. He didn't give any face at all. You don't even give this old man face? Divine Star Venerate Mei Qing frowned. He was a little angry. He really didn't expect Yi Tianyun to go against his words and kill Zhu Xing. He was a little angry, but he was more angry because Yi Tianyun didn't listen to his words and killed Zhu Xing. After his anger erupted, the power of a Divine Star Venerate shrouded over here, making Yi Tianyun feel a little pressure. It had to be said that the pressure of a Divine Star Venerate was quite strong. It had the kind of pressure that made people breathless. Especially when it was only targeted at Yi Tianyun, it made the pressure even greater. However, Yi Tianyun's expression didn't change. He didn't regret his actions. For him, if he didn't kill Zhu Xing, the future disaster would be even more serious. Unless Zhu Xing was completely crippled and couldn't cultivate that kind of power. But this was impossible. After being saved by Divine Star Venerate Mei Qing, he would definitely cultivate like crazy. At that time, it would be equivalent to burying a great hidden danger. Zhu Xing's talent wasn't bad, and he had a unique star aspect. With these two combined, he could definitely suppress a group of people. At that time, he would be a threat to Yi Tianyun. It wasn't a threat to him, but a threat to his faction. It would be extremely troublesome to cultivate to the Divine Star Venerable level one day. Although he himself was not afraid, it was definitely a good thing to have less trouble in the future. Therefore, he made a prompt decision. Even if he had to infuriate Mei Qing God Star Venerable, he had to get rid of this guy. At the same time, he had a life-saving method, and that was the Violet Gold Divine Pavilion. He was the master of the Purple Gold Divine Pavilion, so it wouldn't be a problem for him to trap Star Venerate Mei Qing. It's not that I don't want to give you face, but Zhu Xing almost killed me. If I let him go, it'll be the same as leaving a future trouble for me. Yi Tianyun looked at Mei Qing God Star Venerable with a calm expression. Very good. Seems like you have a reason? Mei Qing God Star Sovereign said angrily, you've already taken care of so many experts of the Zhu family. I once promised the Zhu family that if anything happens to the Zhu family, I would at least protect a seedling. If I stop you, you won't even be able to touch those elders in front of you. It was obvious that Mei Qing God Star Sovereign had already appeared on the side. However, he had promised the Zhu family that he would only protect talented geniuses like Zhu Xing. Who knew that even the last seedling wouldn't be able to be protected? Everyone looked at each other. It seemed like Mei Qing God Star Sovereign still owed the Zhu family a favor. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come forward to help. This could be seen from the fact that he didn't help at the beginning and only helped at the end. He really didn't have much affection for the Zhu family. He just wanted to fulfill a promise. Does the Zhu family have no other disciples? Tianyun said indifferently, I won't destroy the Zhu family. There are many other disciples there, and there are also many seedlings. Is that trash the same as Zhu Xing? Mei Qing God Star Sovereign said angrily, the point is that you don't listen to my request. You won't even give me face. It seems like there's no need for you to stay in this world. Originally, the Zhu family's matter had nothing to do with me. I just wanted to protect a seedling. Now that the seedling is dead, you can go down and accompany him. Mei Qing God Star Sovereign walked over to Tianyun step by step. The pressure he exerted was getting stronger and stronger. He wanted to completely crush Tianyun. Mei Qing God Star Sovereign's murderous intent was aroused. He wanted to kill Tianyun. He didn't have a good impression of the Zhu family, but he still had to fulfill his promise. Now that the promise was gone, he could only help kill Tianyun. This could be considered repaying the Zhu family's kindness. When everyone heard Mei Qing God Star Sovereign's words, they all took a few steps back. Their gazes shifted to Tianyun. Everyone's mentality was different. Some were gloating, some were worried, and most of them felt pity. Originally, with Tianyun's strength, breaking through to the divine Star Sovereign realm wouldn't have been a problem. A bright future awaited him. Who knew that he would encounter Mei Qing God Star Sovereign? Now everything was over. Brother, I'll help you. Tian Yuan gritted his teeth and stood together with Tianyun. Tian Yueming didn't hesitate either. He also stood up and resisted Mei Qing God Star Sovereign with Tianyun. Tian Yueming's expression changed. He wanted to say something, but it was hard for him to say it. If the two of them stood up, how would the treasures be settled? The key was Tian Yueming. If he was targeted by a divine Star Sovereign, he would definitely die. The two of them will be buried with you? That's interesting. Mei Qing God Star Sovereign said coldly, all right, I'll fulfill your wish and send you down together. Mei Qing God Star Sovereign started forming hand seals. Violent energy fluctuations surged from all directions. The fight hadn't even started, but the group of people felt their scalps go numb. Even though they were far away, they could feel a strong sense of oppression coming from the front. It made them feel like they would be annihilated with a light flick. Thank you both for standing up to help, but leave this place to me. Tianyun was touched by the two of them standing up. It could be said that a friend in need is a friend indeed. They were sincere. But this, Tianyun waved his hand, indicating for them to stop talking. He stood up and said, the two of them have nothing to do with me. Your target is me. You want to fight, right? Can we fight somewhere else? Tianyun made a request. No, we can only fight here. Mei Qing God Star Sovereign sneered. I want everyone to know that I, Mei Qing God Star Sovereign, must fulfill my promises. I can't protect the Zhu family seedlings, but I can at least kill the murderer and let everyone witness it. Mei Qing God Star Sovereign flatly refused Tianyun's request. Instead, he killed Tianyun in front of everyone to fulfill his promise. Although he didn't succeed, killing Tianyun could be considered revenge. Chapter 2268. Fighting against a divine star venerable was undoubtedly a dead end. It was basically the kind of death that was hard to escape. Now that Tianyun had chosen to fight a divine star venerable head-on, people would only think that he was overestimating himself. They wouldn't think that he was very courageous. What kind of situation was courageous? It was built on the fact that he could deal with it, or that even if the other party kept him here, he would still be greatly injured. Under such circumstances, he could still be called courageous. If there was a huge disparity in strength, then he would be an idiot. It seems that you still want to fight me? Divine Star Venerable Mei Qing was startled, but he immediately laughed. People really value self-knowledge. You think that you can fight a Divine Star Venerable just because you killed the Zhu family's elder? You're too naive. I never thought that way. I was just doing what I should have done. I can't just stand still and let you kill me, right? If I let you kill me without putting up any resistance, I'd be the real idiot, Tianyun said indifferently. Alright, Since that's the case, I'll fulfill your wish. Divine Star Venerable Mei Qing sneered. Then take one of my moves first. I'll let you see what a gap is. Divine Star Venerable Mei Qing didn't even use the star aspect. He waved his palm and pressed down. He simply mobilized his own power. As he mobilized his own power, a terrifying power surged out of his body. The area above began to distort. A divine light penetrated the thick palace walls and shrouded them. At that moment, a large amount of star power in the area above was extracted and turned into his own use. This wasn't the star power mobilized by the star aspect, but the scattered star power in the surroundings. He could instantly extract a large amount of star power and condense it into power that he could use. This was the special ability of Divine Star Venerable Mei Qing, Star Catcher. This ability was a bit similar to devouring the starry sky. The difference was that one devoured the opponent's star power, while the other gathered the sky's star power to enhance one's own power. If he used the star aspect and combined it with the Star Catcher ability, it would be a double explosion, reaching an extremely shocking level. As a result, a Divine Star Venerable's cultivation was not only heaven-defying, but they also had an additional amplification technique. Just this alone was enough to crush a great Star Venerable. It was precisely because of this that everyone felt how laughable Yi Tianyun's challenge was. It was undoubtedly equivalent to an ant trying to shake a tree with an egg. Flowing green palm. Celestial Star Venerable Mei Qing stretched out his hand and covered Yi Tianyun's side. The void was pierced, and a huge palm stretched out to press down on Yi Tianyun's side. The space was distorted, and it seemed like it would explode at any time. The gigantic palm had sealed off all of Yi Tianyun's escape routes. There was basically nowhere for him to escape to. Yi Tianyun had never planned to escape. He hadn't completely unleashed his power. He still had 80 cubic meters of star power. His hands flashed and 8 arms suddenly grew out from his back. This was the 8-armed Divine Ape's Star Dharma idol. After using it, it could control more weapons. Tianyun stretched out his hand and waved. 4-star venerable weapons fell into his hand. Controlling 4-star venerable weapons at once greatly enhanced his power. He only had one weapon before. After killing Candle Star and the others, he got 3-star venerable weapons. In total, he had 4-star venerable weapons. Brother Ikach, Tian Yuan and Tian Xinghuan both threw the star venerable treasures they had gotten to Yi Tianyun. In this way, he had 6-star venerable weapons. The 6-star venerable weapons gave off the most dazzling light under his power. Chaotic Star Brilliance Cut. Yi Tianyun took a step forward. The power of the 7-colored king dragon burst out. He turned into a human-shaped giant dragon and confronted the huge palm that was coming down. The 6-star venerable weapons danced in the air. They turned into 6 flowing lights and swept forward. Boom! The terrifying light belt pierced through the gigantic palm that was covering the sky. Together with his entire body, he rushed over and directly smashed the astonishing power of the gigantic palm. Everyone's eyes widened. They didn't expect Yi Tianyun to have this kind of power. Could he continue to raise it? It was really enviable for one person to use 6-star venerable weapons. Interesting, but that's it. Divine Star Venerable Mei Qing was shocked. He didn't expect his palm to be split by Yi Tianyun. If it had been another Grand Star Venerable in the late stage, he would have been flattened. Not only was Yi Tianyun fine, but he could also continue to rush toward him. Divine Star Venerable Mei Qing operated his powerful power again and waved his palm in Yi Tianyun's direction. This time, the power he used was several levels higher, reaching the limit of his Divine Star Venerable level power. Blue Moon Palm. Divine Star Venerable Mei Qing attacked with his palm again. This time, its power was several times stronger than before. It was much thicker and more solid. When one looked up, it looked like a real giant palm. It was made of flesh and blood, and the fine lines were what a real palm should look like. In fact, this was not a real palm, but a giant palm condensed by star power. It's over! Divine Star Venerable Mei Qing was very confident in his move. Even Yi Tianyun couldn't resist such a powerful palm. This palm was definitely a move that could only be resisted by a divine star venerable. Boom! The giant palm and the 6 flowing lights collided, causing a huge explosion in the palace. The whole palace shook violently, as if it would collapse at any time. In fact, the damage caused was relatively small. The purple gold divine pavilion was too solid, and it couldn't break its solid defense. This guy is dead. Tian Yueming shook his head. Although he couldn't get the star venerable level treasure, at least he saw Tian Yun die. Divine star venerable Mei Qing must have taken away so many divine star venerable weapons. It was impossible for them to be left here. Divine star venerable Mei Qing was in short supply. When everyone thought that Tian Yun was dead, a flowing light shot out and rushed toward divine star venerable Mei Qing. It hit divine star venerable Mei Qing at lightning speed. Divine star venerable Mei Qing reacted quickly to block it, but it was too late. He was too confident in his move, so he was full of confidence in his move. Boom! Divine star venerable Mei Qing was sent flying. He only managed to stop after retreating a long distance. His arm had caved in, and there were 6 deep marks around his body, each of which was bleeding. He hadn't expected divine star venerable Mei Qing to be injured. Chapter 2269. Divine Star Venerate Mei Qing had suffered a big loss, which made them feel incredulous. They didn't expect that a dignified Divine Star Venerate would be injured by Tian Yun, and it didn't seem to be a light injury. Hiding your strength isn't a good habit. Tian Yun looked at the injured Divine Star Venerate Mei Qing and smiled. He had some ideas in his mind. When he used his full strength, he could still exchange a few moves with Divine Star Venerate Mei Qing without using the star aspect and even gain the upper hand. It seemed that his current strength had reached the same level as a Divine Star Venerate without using the star aspect, or even slightly better. How dare you! Divine Star Venerate Mei Qing was furious. A level 6 star aspect quickly emerged behind him. It was a double-headed dragon. The double-headed dragon roared as if it had broken out of Divine Star Venerate Mei Qing's body. It rushed out in one breath, and violent power rushed in all directions. Roar! The terrifying dragon roar resounded throughout the purple gold divine pavilion. The cultivators who were slightly closer felt a tingling pain in their ears. When they reached out to touch it, they were shocked to the point of bleeding. Just the roar alone had such an impact. What kind of effect would it have if it was an attack? As soon as the star aspect appeared, the star power above also quickly gathered and condensed around Divine Star Venerate Mei Qing, 60 cubic meters of star power. Compared to the star power Tian Yun used, it was 20 cubic meters less. This couldn't be helped. Tian Yun's ultimate move was against the rules. Coupled with the superposition of multiple star aspects, it caused the star power to reach an incredible level. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been stunned when they saw so much star power. 80 cubic meters of star power was a level that even Divine Star Venerates couldn't reach. However, facing a Divine Star Venerate, they still felt that there was no hope at all. The reason why Divine Star Venerates were powerful was that their own strength was extremely tyrannical, not relying on star power to become strong. When one became stronger, they would become even more tyrannical under the superposition of star power. Using star power was just an icing on the cake, allowing one's strength to be fully exerted. Tian Yun had a lot of star power, but the foundation of his power was far inferior to that of a Divine Star Venerable, so no one was optimistic about him. Correspondingly, this was also quite heaven-defying. If Tian Yun's cultivation reached the Divine Star Venerable realm, just this 80 cubic meters of stellar power would be enough to crush Divine Star Venerable Mei Qing. That was a matter for the future. As for now, no one was optimistic about Tian Yun. Even though Tian Yun had injured Mei Qing God Star Venerable, they didn't think much of it. At most, they were just a little surprised. After all, Mei Qing Divine Star Venerable hadn't unleashed his full power. He had just mobilized his own power in a normal manner. He didn't even use his true power, so this kind of victory couldn't be considered a victory. It was just because Mei Qingshan Star Venerable was careless. Now that Mei Qing Divine Star Venerable had truly unleashed his strength, even the purple gold Divine Pavilion trembled a little. This was the true power of a Divine Star Venerable, a power that a group of great Star Venerables looked up to. It's over, this kid. Their eyes were full of schadenfreude. The previous seemingly good battle results would only make Yi Tianyun die faster. How are you going to resist? Jing Xian's beautiful eyes stared at Yi Tianyun. She wanted to see how Yi Tianyun would save himself this time. Facing a Divine Star Venerable, it could be said that all great Star Venerables could only give up resisting. Unless the opponent was seriously injured and their power was greatly weakened, fighting a Divine Star Venerable head-on would be courting death. What else can you use to deal with me this time? Can your stellar power continue to increase, or do you have more Star Venerable level treasures? Mei Qing Divine Star Venerable's eyes were full of contempt. You might be the first great Star Venerable to be able to force me to unleash the Star Dharma aspect. Under the power of a Divine Star Venerable, which great Star Venerable wouldn't give up resisting? When Yi Tianyun saw the Star Dharma aspect behind Mei Qing Divine Star Venerable, he smiled. He was so fearless facing Mei Qing Divine Star Venerable because he knew that Mei Qing Divine Star Venerable's Star Dharma aspect was the double-headed dragon. In addition to knowing the double-headed dragon Star Dharma aspect, he was also the master of the purple gold Divine Pavilion. With these two conditions, even a Divine Star Venerable would be crushed by him. He would never do something he wasn't sure of. It was only because he was confident that he was so fearless. It's very easy to deal with you. Tianyun stretched out his hand and waved. 6 Star Venerable level weapons shone with a cold light, ready to shoot out at any time. I'll use these 6 Star Venerable level weapons to kill you. It's that easy. Ha ha ha, are you an idiot? Do you think the same move will work on me? Even 9 Star Venerable level weapons would be trash in front of me, let alone 6. Mei Qing Divine Star Venerable's eyes were full of disdain. The others shook their heads. Even if one wanted to brag, one must have the ability to back it up. What did these 6 Star Venerable level weapons mean to a Divine Star Venerable? Really? That's not necessarily true. Yi Tianyun took a step forward and said in a cold voice, "Get lost." The phantom of the 7-colored Emperor Dragon pressed forward, and the domineering dragon power pressed forward. As the domineering dragon power pressed forward, the double-headed dragon Star Dharma aspect behind Mei Qing Divine Star Venerable wailed and quickly shrank back, as if it had encountered a superior. The double-headed dragon Star Dharma aspect shrank back, which meant that Mei Qing Divine Star Venerable's power had been completely cut off. All of a sudden, he fell from his peak state to the state when he was fighting against Yi Tianyun. In this state, he would be cut by Yi Tianyun. Even if he was only slightly stronger, he was still strong. At least he wouldn't be crushed. What's going on? My Star Dharma aspect. Mei Qing Divine Star Venerable's face changed. This was something he had never experienced before. The key was that he felt that his Star Dharma aspect couldn't come out no matter how hard he called it, as if it had been completely sealed. What's wrong? Don't you want to continue? If you don't, it'll be my turn. Yi Tianyun walked towards Mei Qing Divine Star Venerable step by step. He had a smile on his face, as if he was looking at a clown. This. Mei Qing Divine Star Venerable's face darkened. If this went on, he would definitely be suppressed. Since you don't want to erupt, I'll start. Tianyun smiled and rushed towards Mei Qing Divine Star Venerable. He waved the 6 Star Venerable level weapons and slashed over. Mei Qing Divine Star Venerable's eyes were full of fear. This was the first time in his history that he had felt so frightened by a Grand Star Venerable. Chapter 2270. Mei Qing Celestial Star Venerate's star aspect being suppressed was beyond everyone's expectations. That was an extremely powerful double-headed dragon star aspect. Under Mei Qing Celestial Star Venerate's training, it could be said that it could unleash a very strong power. who knew that it would be suppressed by Yi Tianyun's unique star aspect, and it could not even release its power. As a result, Mei Qing's celestial star venerate's power suddenly returned to its starting point. Under such circumstances, his power was not much stronger than Yi Tianyun's. However, Yi Tianyun had already surpassed Mei Qing's celestial star venerate under the continuous stacking. Boom boom boom. Yi Tianyun and Mei Qing's celestial star venerate clashed crazily. Every heavy strike left a deep wound on Mei Qing's celestial star venerate's body. Mei Qing's celestial star venerate was getting more and more embarrassed. He was repeatedly pushed back by Yi Tianyun. He did not look like a divine star venerate at all. Seeing the scene in front of them, they were dumbfounded. A dignified divine star venerate was being beaten up just like that? What did I just see? A divine star venerate being beaten up by a great star venerate. That's Mei Qing's celestial star venerate, a very old divine star venerate, but now he's being beaten up. It's really terrifying. How did he do it? Even his opponent's star aspect is being suppressed. No wonder that kid is so fearless. This suppression ability alone is enough to suppress Mei Qing's celestial star venerate. They were all stunned. The sudden reversal made them somewhat unable to react. Everyone thought that Yi Tianyun was dead for sure. Who knew that in the blink of an eye, Yi Tianyun would completely crush Mei Qing's celestial star venerate. Although Yi Tianyun did not completely crush him in terms of power, at least he would not be suppressed by Mei Qing's celestial star venerate. I didn't expect him to have such an ability. Jing Xian's eyes flickered. This time, Yi Tianyun had really surprised her. She had thought that there was no way he could turn the tables, but who knew he could? Tian Yuan and the others breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that Yi Tianyun was not in any danger. Under the continuous onslaught, more and more scars appeared on Star Venerable Mei Qing's body. His body was bleeding profusely, and his complexion was extremely ugly. This was the most humiliating fight he had ever had. How could he be happy about being suppressed by a Grand Star Venerable? What the hell is going on? What kind of power is this? Star Venerable Mei Qingshan clenched his teeth. He quickly turned around and fled. He knew that if this continued, he would be severely injured by Yi Tianyun. Yi Tianyun didn't seem to be exhausted at all. If he continued like this, he would definitely be severely injured. At that time, he wouldn't even be able to escape. In order to survive, he could only choose to escape. It was a little humiliating, but it was better than death, right? Especially when he had no chance of winning, he could only choose to escape. Trying to escape? Yi Tianyun quickly chased after him. However, Mei Qing deity Star Venerable seemed to be even faster. He quickly fled forward. Damn it, I will come back to avenge today's humiliation one day. Mei Qing deity Star Venerable sped up again. He seemed to have activated some treasure, which greatly increased his escape speed. The two of them quickly disappeared in the passage, leaving a group of people looking at each other in dismay. They all saw the shock in each other's eyes. This scene was too shocking. A divine Star Venerable was being chased by a great Star Venerable. In the past, this would have been unimaginable. The distance between Yi Tianyun and Mei Qing deity Star Venerable was getting wider. Mei Qing deity Star Venerable was too fast, far surpassing Yi Tianyun. You want to catch up to me? Impossible. Killing intent flashed in the depths of Mei Qing deity Star Venerable's eyes. I'll see how to deal with you after this is over. He wanted to leave first and then think about how to deal with Yi Tianyun while being suppressed by the power. He couldn't just let it go. He had to avenge his humiliation. He had expected to see a helpless expression on Yi Tianyun's face, but he was soon disappointed. Yi Tianyun didn't look disappointed. Instead, he showed a confident smile. Then Yi Tianyun reached out and raised his hand. Mei Qing deity Star Venerable felt himself being sucked in by a force. He couldn't resist it at all, and he was teleported away. At the same time, Yi Tianyun also disappeared. The next moment, the two of them appeared in a small secret room. The door was closed, and there was no way to escape. What's going on? Mei Qing deity Star Venerable was shocked. He had been sucked in inexplicably. When he looked around, he knew he was trapped in the secret room. What's going on? You're trapped in here. How are you going to escape now? Tianyun walked towards Mei Qing deity star venerable with a smile on his face. How did this happen? Did I step on some mechanism? Mei Qing deity star venerable looked pale. He couldn't escape now, and he was in a predicament. Tianyun still had 6-star venerable level weapons in his hands. In this secret room, he could exert more power. Did you step on a mechanism? I guess you did. Tianyun said with a smile. Do you think you can get rid of me by being trapped here? If you really want to fight, I'll just die with you. Mei Qing deity star venerable had a fierce look in his eyes. If they really fought, he could definitely get rid of Tianyun, but he reckoned he would also die. Die with me? Are you worthy? Tianyun reached out and raised his hand. Suddenly, the whole secret room shone with a bright light. It wrapped around Mei Qing deity star venerable from all directions, trapping him in an area as if he was locked in a cage. What's going on? Mei Qing deity star venerable was dumbfounded. How could this kind of light net appear to trap him? More importantly, why wasn't Tianyun trapped? What's going on? Tianyun walked up to Mei Qing deity star venerable step by step and said with a faint smile, "The entire purple gold divine pavilion is under my control. What do you think is going on? You've become the master of the purple gold divine pavilion?" Mei Qing deity star venerable's heart sank. If such a huge purple gold divine pavilion was under his control, it meant that he was invincible here. If he still had a conflict with Tianyun here, wouldn't he be courting death? That's right. You ran away so quickly that I could catch you and bring you in. If I did this outside, it would be really easy to be exposed, Tianyun said with a smile. Now it's all right. How do you think I should get rid of you? Mei Qing deity star venerable's pupils shrank. This time, he was at his mercy. He couldn't resist. Tianyun didn't even need to use any power to get rid of him. He only needed to mobilize the power of the purple gold divine pavilion to get rid of him. Don't kill me. I'm willing to work for you for a year. Mei Qing deity star venerable's face twitched. He could only compromise. He didn't want to die. A year? Are you kidding me? Tianyun looked him up and down and said indifferently, "Your life is only worth a year? I'm a divine star venerable. If you want to destroy that family of Scarlet Moon planet, I can easily help you. A year is enough for you to dominate a large area." Mei Qing deity star venerable said angrily. Chapter 2271. Tianyun didn't mind killing Mei Qing celestial star sovereign. Even if he was a decent fighter, to him, it was just a big pile of star energy. Therefore, if he didn't agree to it and killed Mei Qing celestial star sovereign, it would be quite worth it. Mei Qing celestial star sovereign's expression was ugly. He glared at him and said, 10,000 years. You want me to be your fighter for 10,000 years? That's impossible. It's too long. 1,000 years at most. He was a dignified divine star sovereign, and it was quite shameful to be a fighter. 10,000 years was a bit too long. Perhaps to him, 10,000 years would pass in the blink of an eye. It wasn't a long time, but he didn't want to be a fighter for that long. It was too shameful. If that's the case, then there's no room for discussion. Tianyun reached out and flicked his finger. The net of light around him gradually gathered, ready to wrap around Mei Qing celestial star sovereign. Perhaps this net of light couldn't kill him, but it could at least trap him. Once he was trapped, he was basically dead. At that time, how could he let Tianyun kill him at will? As the net of light shrank bit by bit, Mei Qing celestial star sovereign's expression became extremely ugly. Not even 1,000 years? 1,000 years was enough to help Tianyun do a lot of things. Ruling Wild Dragon Planet wouldn't be a problem. But Tianyun still wasn't satisfied, as if he had to wait for 10,000 years. 5,000 years. Mei Qing celestial star sovereign shouted through gritted teeth. He still wanted to live. It hadn't been easy to cultivate to this point, so how could he be willing to die? Tianyun was indifferent, as if he hadn't heard anything. He stood expressionlessly on the side. The net of light continued to shrink, which meant that Yi Tianyun wasn't tempted at all. He completely ignored Mei Qing's celestial star sovereign's words. As long as he didn't meet the requirements, he wouldn't agree. 8,000 years. That's a long enough time. Even on planet Crimson Moon, you can become an overlord. There are very few divine star venerables left on Scarlet Moon Planet. With my ability, I can definitely help you dominate Scarlet Moon Planet. Divine Star Venerable Mei Qing roared loudly, his eyes red. 10,000 years, it won't change, Yi Tianyun said indifferently. I asked you to be my fighter, not to help me dominate Scarlet Moon Planet. Besides, I don't need your help to dominate Scarlet Moon Planet. It's just a matter of time. Star Venerable Mei Qing's expression changed slightly, but he didn't refute this. As long as Yi Tianyun took another step forward, he would be able to break through to the Divine Star Venerable realm. It was difficult, but it didn't mean there was no chance. Once he broke through to the Divine Star Venerable level, he would definitely be able to dominate Scarlet Moon Planet. He was already so heaven-defying before breaking through to the Divine Star Venerable realm. What would happen when he broke through to the Divine Star Venerable level? As time passed, the light net got closer and closer. At this time, Star Venerable Mei Qing gritted his teeth and said, "Good. 10,000 years it is. Just don't make me do some low-level things." "Don't worry, I won't make you do those low-level things. If it's not necessary, I won't make you do anything." Yi Tianyun smiled faintly and said, "I just want you to be a helper and help me suppress some things. Most of the things are done by myself." Star Venerable Mei Qing heaved a sigh of relief. As long as he wasn't asked to do those low-level things, it was fine. Those low-level things were things like burning, killing, and looting. He really didn't like doing such things. They were too low-level. "All right then, I'll make the oath now." Star Venerable Mei Qing immediately made an oath, swearing to help Yi Tianyun do things for 10,000 years. As long as he wasn't asked to die, he would basically do it. At the same time, he couldn't hurt Yi Tianyun, not even his family and friends. After making this oath, Yi Tianyun waved his hand and the light net covering Star Venerable Mei Qing disappeared. "It's been a pleasure working with you." Yi Tianyun smiled and said, "You haven't broken through in a long time, right? If you follow me, you will definitely be able to improve your cultivation further." "I hope so." Star Venerable Mei Qing shook his head disapprovingly. He didn't believe Yi Tianyun's words at all. If he wanted to say such things, he would at least need to break through to the Divine Star Venerable realm, right? He wasn't even a Divine Star Venerable, yet he said he would help him break through? "Before we go out, let's settle some things first." Yi Tianyun stretched out his hand and waved. A large group of people appeared in the secret room, which stunned Star Venerable Mei Qing. "Why did you call them in?" Star Venerable Mei Qing was puzzled. "Because they are all from the Giant Beast clan. Through self-evolution, they look no different from cultivators," Yi Tianyun explained. "What? Giant Beast clan?" Star Venerable Mei Qing was shocked. He looked at these people up and down. He couldn't tell that they were from the Giant Beast clan at all. "Bastard, who are you? How dare you capture us?" One of them immediately shouted at Yi Tianyun when he reacted. "Is it important who I am? It's enough that I know you are from the Giant Beast clan. You tried to sneak in and take this purple gold divine pavilion for yourself, right? Unfortunately, I have already become the master of this place. You won't have a chance," Yi Tianyun said with a smile. "How is this possible? You have become the master of this place?" They were shocked and their expressions were very ugly. If that was the case, then their plan would be ruined and they would have spent so much effort in vain. Nothing is impossible. And you, the Evil Spirit clan and the Green Demon clan, you really have good methods. You have hidden yourselves so deeply that even you have self-evolved. You are no different from normal cultivators. Yi Tianyun looked at a group of cultivators with a cold gaze. Others might not be able to see through them, but that didn't mean that he couldn't. After they were seen through, their expressions changed. They hadn't expected that they would be seen through. They often wandered around in some cities, but they had never been seen through. As long as they didn't use their full strength, they wouldn't be seen through. Who knew that they would be seen through here? Nonsense, we are not from the Green Demon clan, nor are we from the Evil Spirit clan. You are slandering us. They all tried to defend themselves in an attempt to deceive him. I didn't call you here for you to defend yourselves. Onion waved his hand, and a dense net of light enveloped them, entangling them. He then tightened his grip, turning them into blood that splattered in all directions. When the blood splattered in front of them, they all erected a barrier to block it, blocking the blood outside. In an instant, all of the captured cultivators were harvested, and they turned into a large wave of star energy that surged toward Tianyun. He was very satisfied. Not only could he destroy a group of Giant Beast Clan and the Green Demon Clan, but he could also earn a large amount of star energy. He couldn't break through right now, but he wouldn't mind having too much star energy. Mei Qing God's Star Venerable frowned. He didn't really believe that these people were from the Giant Beast Clan. Only when they were all dead and the blood flowed out did he feel it. Chapter 2272. Divine Star Venerable Mei Qing thought that Tianyun was making things up, but when he saw the blood and the corpses, he realized that everything was true. Didn't the Giant Beast Clan go extinct? Even if they are left, they are only a small part of them. I can't believe that they can evolve to this extent. Divine Star Venerable Mei Qing was shocked. This was beyond his understanding. The Giant Beast Clan has not gone extinct at all, and they are gradually growing stronger. Now they are constantly infiltrating. They want to destroy all the powerhouses of the forces on planet Crimson Moon, and then directly rule the entire planet. Tianyun explained, this is just one of the groups. There are many more outside, and I don't know what they are plotting. Is there such a thing? Divine Star Venerable Mei Qing was taken aback. He looked at Tianyun in shock. How did you know about this? I found out a long time ago, but I didn't announce it. How many people would believe me if I announced it? Tianyun shook his head. Fortunately, I am now in control of the Purple Gold Divine Pavilion. Otherwise, if it was controlled by them, it would be extremely troublesome. Naturally, the Purple Gold Divine Pavilion could not be controlled. Tianyun simply explained the consequences. The original intention of the Purple Cloud Star Emperor was to screen out the combat power, not to find an inheritor. Therefore, no matter how outstanding the other party's performance was, he would not transfer the Purple Gold Divine Pavilion to them. Tianyun was an exception. He was the inheritor of the five-colored Emperor Dragon. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor intended to give him a little help, so he handed over the control. That's true. Divine Star Venerable Mei Qing had a complicated look in his eyes. He did not expect Tianyun to have such a plan. After thinking about it carefully, there were many members of the Giant Beast Clan surrounding them. When they thought that they had returned from a rewarding journey and had won everything, they realized that the Oriole was behind them. Now, I will give you a task. Tianyun did not allow him to agree and said directly, hide and deal with the Giant Beast Clan at any time. This shouldn't be some low-level task for you, right? Of course not. We cultivators have always been incompatible with the Giant Beast Clan. Since they want to destroy us, don't blame us for being impolite. Divine Star Venerable Mei Qing said in a deep voice, how about this? I will summon some friends to come over. I don't know if they can make it in time. It should be no problem. The Giant Beast Clan must be waiting for an opportunity. This opportunity should only be taken when the Violet Gold Divine Pavilion closes. Tianyun smiled lightly and said, I am now the owner of the Purple Gold Divine Pavilion. I can close it whenever I want. There is no need to worry about anything. Tian Star Venerable Yu, Tianyun, Venang on. Tian, Star Venhold Star will to call some friends. They could defeat them up. They have Divine Star. Venerable Divine Star did Yun say, the demon. Star had up. Tianyun. When Tifuli the Star, the Star, the elders of Emperor, he had have up. When they saw Tianyun coming back, all of their faces changed. It was quite interesting. Many of them looked at Yi Tianyun with even more respect. They did not dare to be disrespectful. Even a divine star venerable had been defeated. Even if he did not die, this ability was enough to prove how strong he was. Tian Yueming and the others had ugly expressions on their faces. They did not expect that the person they wanted to kill the most would not be dead. Correspondingly, they felt their hearts tremble. Who could stop him if he came to cause trouble for them? The Zhu family was much stronger than the Tian family. So many great star venerables had been killed. The Tian family's great star venerables might not even be enough. Chu Hetong's side was relieved. Fortunately, they did not start a conflict with Yi Tianyun. Otherwise, the Chu family would be like the Zhu family if they really fought. Fortunately, you predicted the danger in advance. If we had forcefully taken his treasure, it would have been really troublesome. Chu Hetong smiled bitterly. Fortunately, they did not act impulsively. If they had not listened to Jing Exin, they would have been done for. Even if they could resist, given Yi Tianyun's ability, if he came back later to take revenge, the Chu family would not be able to resist him. He is the one who has the unique star Dharma idol of Desolate Dragon Star. Jing Exin said with a complicated expression on her face. When she saw the unique star Dharma idol on Yi Tianyun's body, she immediately knew who he was. Yi Tianyun did not want to expose his unique star Dharma aspect because it was too easy to recognize. There were only a few unique star Dharma aspects. It would be easy to figure them out, unless they were hidden. However, those with a strong information network could easily gather the corresponding information. Jing Exin could figure it out mainly because she had accurate information. That was why she could recognize it immediately. The unique star Dharma aspect of the Desolate Dragon Planet. Chu Hetong was startled. He opened his eyes wide and looked at Yin. He is the one from the Desolate Dragon Planet? The Desolate Dragon Planet is in such a miserable state, but it still has a genius like him. It is so strange. It is strange, but it is the truth. Jing Exin sighed. I have guessed whether he is that genius or not. However, he did not show his star Dharma aspect, so my guess was not accurate. During the trial, I wanted to see him do it. Who knew that he would rather lose than do it? Jing Exin shook her head. Anyway, it did not make any difference now. After all, he had been exposed. She had finally figured out Yi Tianyun's real identity. Yi Tianyun walked over. The warriors around him moved aside to make a path for him. No one dared to provoke him. Who would dare to provoke a god of slaughter? When he arrived, he cast a calm glance at Tian Yueming and the others. The latter shuddered and didn't dare to look at him. It was especially the case for Tian Shengfeng and the others, who had a grudge against Yi Tianyun. They had been glaring at Yi Tianyun angrily, but now they didn't dare to look at him. They were afraid that Yi Tianyun would hold a grudge against them and drag the Tian family down with him. That would be troublesome. If they asked others for help, they would not be so proactive. No one dared to provoke this god of slaughter. Thank you for your help. These are your weapons. Yi Tianyun returned the 2-star venerable weapons. Then he turned his head to look at Tian Yueming and said calmly, the weapons have been returned to them. Aren't you going to ask them if they have taken them? Tian Yueming's face twitched. He coughed and said, we suddenly changed our mind. Since the celestial link wants to leave the family to travel outside, let's go. If they want to come back, let's come back. Tian Yueming didn't dare to ask for the weapons. He was afraid that he would lose his life if he asked for them. As long as one wasn't blind, he would know that Yi Tianyun had a good relationship with them. In such a situation, who would dare to provoke him? You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.